Well, hey, it's time for Ask the Tech Guys. I'm Leo Laporte. Coming up, I'm going to help somebody stop those annoying video ads on his smartphone.
And I'm Micah Sargent, and we take a look at some apps that will help you transcribe a 3-hour video from mom.
And then you're going to help me figure out, where did I put my nuts? It's all coming up next on Ask the Tech Guys.
Arr.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Micah Sargent and Leo Laporte, episode 1998, recorded Sunday, October 29th, 2023. The best tale in the biz. Ask the Tech Guys is brought to you by CacheFly, delivering rich media content up to 159% faster than other major CDNs. Join CacheFly, the world's fastest CDN. Your website visitors will love CacheFly's lag-free video loading, hyper-fast downloads, and friction-free transaction processing. Learn how to get your first month free at cachefly.com/twit. Listeners of this program get an ad-free version if they're members of Club TWiT. $7 a month gives you ad-free versions of all of our shows, plus membership in the Club TWiT Discord, a great clubhouse for TWiT listeners. And finally, the TWiT Plus feed with shows like Stacy's Book Club, The Untitled Linux Show, The Giz Fizz, and more. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit. And thanks for your support. Well, hey! It's time for Ask the Tech Guys. I'm your friendly squirrel, Leo Laporte.
And I'm Micah Sargent.
Arr!
I'm not even talking into a microphone.
You're Mike.
I'm about to say.
Micah Sargent.
And it's the Halloween edition. Did you guess? Of Ask the Tech Guys.
I've had a little rum, I guess, today.
Oh, I'm a little rummy after all these nuts. So you might be asking, why the hell is this here? Because we got into the escape box on Thursday. That was, you know what? That was so much fun.
A lot of fun. Oh, my goodness.
Great time with that.
Yeah, Read Between the Lines, which is a local kind of escape box, escape room place, an escape room shop.
You guys, Lisa brought the continuity department, and you went
Plus moi, yeah.
to the escape room, and you guys, did you do it? You did it in time.
We did it in time. We did it in under time, yeah.
So the idea of escape room, if you don't have one in your locale, many do, is you go into this room and it's a scenario. What was the scenario? The
scenario was a babysitter. The babysitter was home with the kid, and the kid needed to go to bed by a certain time.
No. Really?
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
It was quite fun.
Okay. And so you're the babysitter?
No,
you have to get out of the kids' room.
You're trying to get the kid's doll so that the kid will go to bed.
Okay.
You are the babysitter, yes.
And it took you how long?
It took us 38 minutes.
To find a freaking doll.
Yes. It was very involved, okay? It is rated at 3 puzzle pieces.
Oh.
And the escape room, or the escape box we did, is rated at 4 puzzle pieces.
So they brought us a box with lots of locks all around it and puzzles and mysteries. It took us an hour and 43 minutes. Did I spoil? No spoilers. Okay. I won't tell you how long it took, but it took a long time. And it was hard.
It was very difficult.
Especially with no opposable thumbs.
But it was a lot of fun, and everyone should join Club TWiT so that you can watch us try to break into the box. Only. Yes, it is a Club TWiT exclusive. Yeah. Where do people go to join the club?
twit.tv/clubtwit.
That's where you go. Yep. And that's what's great about, I think, one of the things that's so cool about Club TWiT.
This is oddly satisfying.
Is that joining the club at $7 a month or $84 a year means that you don't just get access to what's coming out, in the future. You also get access to a huge back catalog of stuff that we've published, including this this escape box. So I think that's exciting that you are going to get a bunch of stuff that you can go back and watch, kind of a library of content that's exclusive to Club TWiT members.
All right. Meanwhile, you know what? We had to do this just to get these tools out of here. Okay, now we can do a show. Meanwhile, here we are to answer your tech questions at 1-888-724-2884. The lines are open if you're watching live. That's roughly 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, you can also join us by going to call.twit.tv in your browser of choice. You can either use your phone or, if you want to, your computer. And when you do, you will join our fabulous Zoom room where you will wait for us to bring you on air. It's important that you raise your hand in the Zoom room, not your physical hand, but your digital hand or your paw, if that's what you have.
Paws are okay.
Paws are fine. And when you do that, that lets us know that you have a question, because we do have some folks who just like to tune in via Zoom. So having that hand in the air lets us know that you're there for questions. Oh, you can also email us if you want to, atg@twit.tv. You can send us text, in which case we'll print those out. We also have audio and video that can get sent that way. And I don't know if we mentioned, if you call us at that number that's open right now during the week, 888-724-2884, you can leave a voicemail, and we would be happy to answer your questions then.
I have, in our news segment of the day, 3.
Count them.
You'd see 3 if I had fingers. Numbers for you.
Okay.
You could tell me how they relate. 250 billion, 4 million, 16. All of them in dollars. $250 billion, $4 million, and $16.
And they all relate?
Well, they're all about technology. The
Okay.
$16.
I bet that is Twitter's subscription.
The new subscription. There are going to be 3 tiers of paid subscriptions. Actually, 4.
4
if you include
tiers?
the ones that he rolled out in Australia and South Africa or somewhere. The $1 not a year, not a bot fee, which is completely absurd, since obviously plenty of bots are willing to spend $8 a month
Exactly.
for a blue check. So the $8 a month blue check will remain, but there's now a kind of sub blue check $3 a month. What do you get for that? Nothing. As far as I can tell, maybe the good feeling that you're helping the richest man in the world balance his checkbook. That's the basic subscribers. They get a small bump added to their replies.
What does that even mean?
See, it's
because when I've heard of someone saying I need a small bump,
That's a
that
different
means
kind of
something
bump.
else. Yeah.
Then there's Premium Plus for $16. You get no ads from the For You and Following feeds. You also get a blue check mark, of course, the ability to edit tweets, longer posts, longer video uploads, encrypted direct messages, and more. And your replies get right to the top of the bunch. See, I think this ruins Twitter if people who are willing to pay money.
It becomes what, pay to play?
Yeah. Get higher up in the replies. That's annoying. I don't want to see them. It's all blue checks in your replies now.
What's that called in the game where you buy the box and inside the box is random stuff and you can
Loot
get
box.
Yeah, they're going to
It's
do
a
loot
loot box.
boxes next.
Did you see my tail?
By the way, you currently have the attention span of a squirrel, which is fantastic. By the way, did you see my tail?
It's a hell of a tail.
This is delightful.
I think this should be our thumbnail for
I
the
was
show.
about to say,
Wow.
I think you just gave me the perfect
It's a very
thumbnail
soft
for YouTube,
tail.
Leo. I
Did you
appreciate
touch
it.
my
I
tail?
did touch
All
your
right, Would
tail.
you like to touch my nuts?
No, I'll leave
Okay.
that to you. Thank you. Can I've got a thing. Oh, no, you've still got 2 more numbers.
I
You
got
do
2
your
more
numbers.
numbers.
My bad.
So that
Do your
was
numbers.
that actually was 3 numbers in one. The 16, 3, 8, and 1 was 4 numbers. But there are other numbers in the world. What was the other one? $4 million. That's how much a white hat, I guess, hacker has earned last year, according to HackerOne, finding bugs. That's a big bug
Whoa,
bounty. Some
4
guys making
million?
$4 million a year.
And this is bugs for different companies?
Yeah.
Okay.
HackerOne is one of the good guys in this. They pay ethical hackers to find bugs. Companies go to HackerOne.
Okay, I was going to say, how do they get the money?
would you handle this for us? They have paid last year over $300 million in bug bounties. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not last year. That's since they started. But there is 30 hackers have earned more than $1 million so far. One has received $4 million for bug reports. But now that I see that it's over 10 years, it's a little less impressive. Still, it's good. It's a good living.
It's a living.
It's a living. And HackerOne's a good one. So a company like, let's say, I don't know, IBM would go to HackerOne and say, hey, would you administer our bug bounty program? Because the thing here is, if you don't pay hackers to give you the bugs, some bad guy will.
Absolutely.
And in fact, there are companies kind of like HackerOne, but instead of working with the companies to fix the bugs, they work with nation states and hacking organizations to take those bugs and use them elsewhere. So, a lot of money, though. If you're thinking about a career, that might be the one to go with. Now, I said one more number.
Yes.
$250 billion. That's the size, according to the Washington Post, of the creator industry.
Oh.
$250 billion with tens of millions of workers, hundreds of millions of customers, its own trade association. I'm sorry, this is for some reason coming up as part of the Microsoft News Network, which is not what I want to see. But Drew Harwell and Taylor Lorenz authored this. Pretty amazing. The Census Bureau does, industries. They ask you when you do the census, what industry are you in?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are social media or creators. They asked high school kids. Used to be when you asked a high school kid, what do you want to be? They'd say, when you were a kid, you probably said astronaut.
Yes.
I did. No. Or then maybe professional baller, sports player. But now, by far, they choose influencer.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to react to that.
It's just as likely you'll become a professional player in the NBA or an astronaut
as it is that you would become an influencer.
As it is that you'll become a paid influencer.
So it's very rare that it'll actually.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because my son always said, I want to be an influencer. He said, you should be an influencer, Dad. You are an influencer. You're my inspiration. I want to be an influencer. And I said, son, go to school, get a job, get a skill. He did. He went to college. I paid for 4 years of college, got a broadcast news degree. What is he?
He's an influencer.
He's an influencer. You know what, though? He's a successful influencer. Mm-hmm. So I can't really knock it. Some people do make it. Creators contributed $35 billion to the United States gross domestic product, GDP. So it's a big business.
But they're not paying taxes? Is that what the conversation was? I saw the headline said something about, but they barely exist in official records.
Well, kind of part of the problem. And I tell Henry this. I said, take your money, put a third of it aside because you're going to have to give it to the feds.
Yeah.
More influencers are making money through things like YouTube and Twitch where they do get tax forms. So they can't just skate by.
Yeah, that was my biggest concern. My brother for a couple of years was a game streamer, and I was very much on him about make sure you're paying your taxes, make sure you're paying your taxes, because I knew that Twitch does submit the forms and does all of that. So
according to the Washington Post, the census tracks many different jobs. You want to hear some of the other ones?
I would love to.
Videotape duplicator.
Okay.
There's not a lot of work there.
All 6 of them, yeah.
Canary raiser. That's in the census.
RAI, not RAZOR, right?
Yeah,
someone who raises.
Somebody who shaves canaries.
Okay, cool.
Somebody who brings them up.
Gotcha.
Wow, you have an imagination. Magician's helper is one of the professions you could tell the census. I'm a magician's helper. You can't tell them you're a squirrel, though, or a pirate.
You could say you're an inventory manager.
Yeah.
And you collect nuts.
What's a wharfinger?
A wharfinger?
Yeah.
That sounds like those start of a joke.
WHARFINGER. This is the Washington Post. I'm not making this up.
I bet it's something to do with wharfs. An owner or keeper of a wharf.
Oh, a wharfinger. Or a roller skate repairer.
Aw.
There are 23 separate job titles related just to cigarettes. Creators might be in the public relations specialists, or the one I'm in, by the way, the census asks, independent artists, writers, and performers. That's probably you too.
Independent artist, writer, and performer.
So 3 numbers. Now it's your turn. I did mine. I'm going to put my glove back on.
This perfectly goes into what I wanted to talk about, which is something that I was shocked to see. Yes. Apple is holding an event, as we know, tomorrow. Tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Their first ever primetime event. They're going up against Monday Night Football.
Who's playing?
Doesn't matter because Apple's got an event.
Yes. And so at 5 p.m. tomorrow, Leo and I will be covering that event live. You should tune in to watch us, not on YouTube, of course, but here, twit.tv/live.
Apple will take us down if we do it on YouTube, so we just do it in the other places. You'll know.
But what shocked me is that Apple seems to be getting into the creator/influencer marketing game in a big way. Leading up to this event, a number of influencers received a box from Apple, and on the inside of the box,
wait, I got it. I got it right here.
Oh,
if they need it, we can get in it.
It says, "It's almost Halloween and Apple has some treats in store for you. On the evening of October 30th, we'll unveil something special, invite you to blah, blah. To make your viewing experience a bit more spatial, we hope you'll enjoy immersive listening with AirPods Max, along with a few sweet and spooky snacks." They sent AirPods Max and a bunch of candies and snacks to influencers ahead of this event. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that I've ever heard of them doing this before.
No. Back in the day when I was an influencer, before I was a squirrel, Apple would occasionally send me, do you need this? You need this back? Oh, goodness. I was wondering what it was for. Cut the lines, quick.
Oh, God.
That's an emergency line cutting tool. I received a box from Apple with like 20 iPods, all different kinds of iPods in it.
Really?
Yeah, with a big bow on it. So they do this. I sent it back immediately. I was offended.
Yeah, see, that's...
But don't be offended because I didn't even invite me to watch the video, let alone send me AirPods. They didn't even send me an invite saying we're going to do this at 5 o'clock. They didn't even want... Maybe because I'm a squirrel. Squirrels get no respect in the world.
I get no respect.
Yeah.
So, okay, but... that's good to know that it's happened before. I felt like this was them really leaning into the influencers. We've seen a shift.
We know that.
Yes,
we know that.
There's been a shift in their PR strategy.
So
where
Lamar
there is
Wilson
much more of a focus. Yeah,
was one of them.
Lamar Wilson was one. Wearing the Apple hat.
Wait a minute. I love Lamar. He used to be on we used to do a YouTube show with Lamar.
Yep.
I'm just curious what it takes to be, how many subscribers you need. I think get the box.
I wonder if is he more on TikTok or is he more on YouTube these days?
Let me just go look on YouTube at Lamar Wilson. Oh, yeah, he's got 2.14 million subscribers. Good on you, Lamar. He's done very well for himself. He's doing YouTube Shorts a lot, which is, I think, the hot thing right now.
Yeah, and let's see. He's got 1.1 million followers on TikTok as well.
Yeah. So my son has 2.5 million followers on TikTok. Did he get AirPods Max? No.
But he's not an Apple coverage.
Oh, that's right.
It's not
if Apple made a sandwich,
right,
then he would have coverage.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, good on Lamar. Lamar was just kind of starting out when he did the YouTube show for us. He's done very well for himself. Good on you, Lamar. So I guess that's a form of... you don't have to have a resume. In the old days, you'd have to send them clips from your PC magazine.
Oh, my goodness.
Or Macworld magazine articles to prove that you were somebody.
Also, Mark Gurman joined us on Thursday on Tech News Weekly to give us kind of a preview of the event.
Oh, yeah.
And he said that there are a few folks who actually did get an in-person invite to New York. And in New York, they will be able to try out the new Mac hardware, and will probably have like dinner beforehand and then go to do the event. So it wasn't as widespread as Apple's previous press events where they bring in a lot of people to the Steve Jobs Theater, but they do have some sort of location, he said, in New York, and some premium press
I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I was too.
Oh, that's interesting. And it's in New York.
In New York.
So that means it's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So it's really, this is an interesting, so I saw a theory that Apple is trying out, they've never done a primetime event. In fact, the only ones who have ever done primetime events, I think maybe are Samsung because they're in Korea, and so it kind of became an evening event. But generally, Apple does it midday. And they get a lot of attention midday. They don't compete with television watching, dinner time with the family, walking the dog, or NFL Monday Night Football. The theory is maybe they're trying this out. This isn't Mac's announcement's not a big deal for them. If nobody watches, no big deal, right? But they're trying this out to see what kind of what kind of interest they can get from Lamar and others because of the Vision Pro announcement coming up in January, because that is going to be a very important announcement for Apple, right? They want everybody to watch it, and I think they're testing out
what's a good time.
What's a good time to do it? And Tim, if you want my advice, get a squirrel costume.
Yeah, everyone will tune in.
Everybody will watch. Actually, they probably would.
If Tim was wearing a squirrel costume. Oh, absolutely.
Especially
there'd be so many
if he memes. Had a tail like this.
The beautiful, glorious tail. Can we make the thumbnail a GIF? Patrick, I need you to get on something.
It's not in the budget.
Oh, no. Join Club TWiT so we can make the thumbnail a GIF.
We need your money to make animated tail movements. So I think this will be interesting tomorrow. Are you looking forward to it?
I am, because you're going to be buying a computer for yourself.
I don't know.
You said if it was Oh, wait, no, it was two things, right?
M3 with a
and
mini LED or OLED screen.
So maybe
they'll
you
probably
won't be.
Not update any of the design. It'll probably be the XDR display that they do currently on the 14 and 16.
That's right. Okay, never mind. But I don't know. I think it's going to be fun that it's at a different time. And I am looking forward to seeing what they say in comparison to what we saw from the Snapdragon event, where Snapdragon was directly comparing itself with Apple's current line of silicon.
Yeah, already, by the way, the naysayers are starting to come down on Qualcomm's claims of faster and all of this stuff.
Low power and faster.
Yeah. We'll wait and see. We will wait and see. It won't be till mid next year. It's interesting. Apple's not responding to Qualcomm. Qualcomm, though, might have been trying to sneak that in ahead of Apple's M3 announcement, because they didn't want to talk about how their performance was compared to the M3, just the old M2.
Just the M2.
So to speak. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying. Should we do a quick break for...
I think so.
A sponsor announcement?
Yes, let's go to a sponsor announcement.
Do you think they mind if a squirrel does their ad?
I don't know.
They might be... Maybe they'll want their money back?
Oh, no.
Which would be worse, if a squirrel did it or a pirate? I think a squirrel's better than a pirate.
A squirrel is less problematic than a pirate.
Yeah. Right?
Yes. Well, hold on.
Let me tell you about my product.
Your particular squirrel, though, I don't know. As long as can we just make sure it stays
care a lot
here?
About their public key infrastructure, right? Because when they store their nuts, it's very important.
I don't like this.
That they find them again. This episode of Ask the Tech Guy is brought to you by HID Global. Reduce risk and operating costs, reduce complexity by outsourcing public key infrastructure operations to HID Global's cloud-based PKI as a service model. It provides automated management of the complete certificate lifecycle and encryption. It's your one-stop shop for simplifying private and public PKI management with one predictable price on one easy-to-use platform. Their simple subscription system has no additional charges for additional certificates under your current plan. Geographically dispersed and scalable architecture across multiple regions, HID Global goes wherever AWS is. Ease your procurement pains with HID Global. You'll get up and running in 2 weeks, much quicker than the competitors. Their assistance with deployment always includes their incomparable white glove service, expertise, and knowledge. And you will receive ownership of your private keys. For Google and Mac systems, HID's connector model of PKI uses open source certificate utilities, so your organization could use multiple operating systems. Great for BYOD. Look, all you got to do is find out more at hid.link/ATG today. Thank you, HID. Salute from the squirrel. So,
a squirrel salute.
I don't have, as you know, I do actually have opposable thumbs. I don't have fingers. So I'm going to let somebody else push the buttons today.
Okay, well...
All I can do is mush them.
Well, I'm going to push the buttons because I want to pick up on Chuck, who has a very interesting video set up.
Wow.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's like...
What's Chuck
panoramic
doing?
At the top.
Oh, we know about Chuck, don't we? Have we seen Chuck before? Join us in the Stargate, Mr. Chuck. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
That work. All right, we're there. So, good morning. First world problems for me today, right? So, first of all, that's a Zoom. That's a Owl 3 camera. I do a lot of board meetings, and in COVID, I had to do a lot of improvising and adapting. And I thought the camera was apropos to my first world problem today.
So for those who are only listening, you've got a super wide angle kind of CinemaScope shot of you. I mean, this is 180 degrees, I think. It's the whole room.
It's the whole room.
Yeah. And then below it, you've got a tight shot of you, which is great.
And one of the cool things about this is if I walk around the room, the camera will move to adjust to where I'm at as I'm speaking.
That's nice.
So I'm not going to do that to everybody and make them all sick to their stomach, but it will also register if there's other people talking, it'll start and play them and does a whole cameraman thing for me easily.
So this is the Owl Cam.
Yeah, and
nice.
It's from Owl Labs, and we got it during COVID at my employers so that we could, so I could do presentations for boards of directors all over the place. I'm in property management, so
nice.
I have to tell the owners how their buildings are doing. So it just
actually, I didn't realize this. I'm looking at the picture of it. It's a 360 degrees. So I'm seeing the whole space.
And it looks like an owl.
Yeah, this is my kitchen in remodel mode, right? There's 2 refrigerators.
I love it. You better be careful, though, about having your children wander in and your wife.
Yeah. I don't want to be on camera.
My young man, my wife came downstairs and I cautioned her off. I said, you don't want to come in.
Don't come in here.
But anyway, so we're doing all of this and we're doing the kitchen and we've not done it for 38 years. And I'm a big fan of doing the right thing. You know, don't buy twice, buy smart originally. And so I think I've gone a little over my head, right? My degrees in information systems, I'm no idiot, and I've heard you guys talk about cameras and things and how you need to put them sometimes on a different form of Wi-Fi so that you can work with that. And the smart, so I've got a smart oven and I've got a smart refrigerator and dishwasher.
What is a smart oven and refrigerator? In what way is it smart?
Well, relatively smart, right? Anyway,
we talked about this last week. Why do you connect a refrigerator to the Wi-Fi?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for instance, my refrigerator will tell me when it's made the giant ice cubes.
Oh.
Right? This makes the spherical ice cubes.
Yeah. Well, I'd buy it for the spherical ice cubes, but
and it lets you know they're ready. Time for a drink.
So it's pretty neat. You've got 3 of them ready, so I can have 3 drinks if I need to.
That's hysterical.
And the oven will monitor the temperatures. I can also start it preheating as I'm driving home, or it hooks into the A word.
ALEXA, yeah.
I'm running the A word around here.
I call mine Ziggy. So you could say Ziggy.
Me too.
Is the oven
that's
done?
what he calls his.
I just woke it up.
That's what I call mine, right?
Yeah.
And I replaced all the light outlets in the kitchen with the smart.
Oh, you've gone all in. Yeah.
So I can yell at that guy in the other room and say, "Hey, turn on the lights."
I'm going in the other direction. I'm getting everything dumb in the house. Dumb. Because when you don't have fingers,
it's getting to the point where I'm thinking maybe I am dumb. So I don't know what the features of all of these things are. It's a whole boatload of technology to learn all at one time. But what I do know is I'm not hooking up well to my devices. So the question is it worthwhile to go out and get a 2.4 megahertz router that's dedicated only to those systems, right? I've got the Blink cameras and I've got the wall outlets.
What are you using right now as a router?
What am I using right now as a rabbit?
Router. A router.
I've got 2 routers, right? I've got the one that Comcast leases me, and I kind of hate it, but at the time I was going up to a gigabit internet, and I didn't want to mess. I was sick of fighting the internet during COVID, so I just bought and took the one on that they had. I'll be perfectly glad to drop that off in their bin and not pay them every month to have that. But and I've also got a mesh network in the house as well, and so they kind of run in parallel.
Whose mesh are you using?
Oh, geez, what is it?
Eero, Orbi, Velop. It's an Eero?
I think it's an Eero.
Yeah. So Eero does have 2.4 gigahertz as well as 5 gigahertz.
Yeah, they do both. You said you're having trouble connecting. Do you mean regularly? When does this come up? What's happening? Because that'll give us some insight into what the problem is here.
So this morning with my coffee in hand, I'm one of these former Marines that doesn't like sleep like humans do. So this morning at about 5 o'clock, I've got a flashlight on my head and I'm installing the smart light switches in the house with the power off because nobody can tell the power's off at night.
Yeah, that's the best time to do it. Yeah.
And so I rewired the switches. I put the smart switches in. I downloaded the app and I can't get the smart phone. I can't search and find the 2.4 megahertz on my phone, and I can't find and the switches won't use the 5G.
Got it.
So I'm in that spot, and I know that you guys talk about going on and turning off the 5G, but maybe if there was a primer or a guide or maybe a podcast I could listen to that explained that sort of thing, and then I know those guys. So
yeah. Okay. So if you have Eero, then this is something that you can do without needing to purchase anything new. I will tell you, I've done what you had originally said in the past. I had a printer that I bought way back in college, and when I purchased it, it used Wi-Fi protected setup to actually connect to the network. And as time elapsed and Wi-Fi protected setup went away.
You had Wi-Fi in college?
Yes, I had Wi-Fi in college. I'm a youth. And so I had to keep around a Airport Extreme, and I exclusively used that so that I could connect that printer. But then I also, because I had to keep it around for that, I turned off the 5 gigahertz band on it and just used the 2.4 gigahertz band. So that's entirely possible. You could buy a dedicated box to do that, but it's much simpler to just use what you have. If you have Eero, the way that you do it on Eero is you go into the troubleshooting steps. And this is something that can apply to anybody who has a router. There's going to be some way of being able to just turn on the 2.4 gigahertz, turn off the 5 gigahertz. But you go into troubleshooting, you say my device won't connect, and then you say my device is 2.4 gigahertz only. And then there's a button that says temporarily pause 5 gigahertz. For the next 15 minutes, it turns off those 5 gigahertz radios and it just does the 2.4 gigahertz radios. And then you'll be able to connect those things that you have in your wall. And the reason why it's 2.4 gigahertz exclusively is because the little Wi-Fi chip that's inside of the box that you're installing on the wall is on the other side of this drywall. There may be metal involved. There may be other types of interactions that can get in the way. And so they don't let you use 5 gigahertz because 5 gigahertz doesn't travel through things very well. It's a very robust connection if you're closer to it or if there's nothing in the way. But the further away you get and the more that's in between it, the worse the connection is. 2.4 gigahertz can do a lot better. So it's kind of just a way to try and keep people from having the issues in the first place. They just say, no, we're only doing 2.4 gigahertz. And so that's how you do it with Eero.
Do you want to leave it on 2.4 though? You eventually
No. It'll go back to 15 so after the 15 minutes. Yeah.
You just want to temporarily turn off the 5 gigahertz radio. So, and then have all of the IoT devices join 2.4.
Yep.
So the other reason for that is many IoT devices don't do 5 gigahertz.
Exactly.
But don't know the difference because it's all the same name. And they'll join the wrong band and then never work. I had an air purifier that did that. And so turning off the 5 gigahertz, getting your whole IoT setup working, and then letting it, so after 15 minutes,
after 15 minutes, it turns back on.
That's in the troubleshooting settings, which is a weird place for it.
Yeah,
but that's where they put it. So go into your settings, look in troubleshooting in your Eero, if it is indeed an Eero.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. I think it's an Eero. But
I guess the other thing you could do.
Eero the way to do it?
Yeah, I mean, you could go out and get some cheap TP-Link Wi-Fi that's 2.4 gigahertz only. That would be a little more secure because then your IoT devices would be on a completely separate network. Eero and most other routers, even though they'll have 2 or sometimes now 3 radio bands or even more with Wi-Fi 7, they still let them talk to one another. Because if they didn't, then some of your devices would go, well, I can't see the printer. Where is it? It's disappeared. So they don't have any barriers between the various frequencies. If you set up a separate router, or you have VLAN capability, if your router's like a little more fancy and you have VLAN capability, you can keep the IoT network separate, which is what you want, from your secure network. You don't want the refrigerator, because it doesn't get updated as much, because the company that made it isn't maybe as committed to security. You don't. If it's Samsung, you probably are, right? But you don't want the refrigerator to suddenly become a portal into the network where your computers are and your phones. So you have them in separate networks, and by doing so, you preserve some security. You have a wall between the two. I think that's what you're getting at, that you want.
That's where I'm trying to be, right?
Yeah.
So I've got cameras, I've got Ziggy over in the other room, and I've got all kinds of things going on, and I just don't know that I want it on the same network as my.
Yeah. That's what I do. I have Comcast gigahertz as well, and I use a Ubiquiti router with them. And Ubiquiti, because it's a prosumer, higher-end system, does allow me to do VLAN. So I have a 2.4 gigahertz virtual network that's for IoT only. And it solves that problem you were talking about. It goes farther. And then for instance, my garage Wi-Fi, I have an access point in my garage. So my garage access, because I have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
My car, my garage door opener and stuff. That little Wi-Fi access point can only do, I have it set only for 2.4 gigahertz, because nothing in the garage is ever going to want 5 gigahertz, and I don't want it to. Plus, it needs to be able to go through the garage door and stuff like that. There's stuff outside. There's a purple air sensor and some cameras outside.
So if you're going in with a little stack of money and you're going online and you're looking, what router system would you get?
Well, if you've been saving your nuts for some time.
Absolutely. By the way, I was going to say nice tail.
I think I have the best tail in the biz.
Great.
You know what? You had such a good tail when we were doing the escape box. I felt like I should have a tail. He was a mermaid, or what were you, a naiad?
It was a dark siren, was what the costume said.
He was a dark siren. Anyway, yeah, if money's no object and you really want to do this right, and it sounds like you do, I really like Ubiquiti. But it gets a little more fancy.
Mm-hmm. It's more involved, but
Ubiquiti has the UDM, the Ultimate Dream Machine, which is their router.
That's what they called me in high school.
UDM, the Dream Machine. It's one box. It plugs into your Comcast, and it actually is kind of cool because it can do multi-homing. So you could also have for instance, a 3G network attached as a second WAN port, so that if for failover or even for improving speed, things like that, gigahertz, you don't need to do that. And then that is connected to a switch. And this switch, the one I got, is a power over Ethernet switch. So, and it has, I think, I got I don't know why, 64 ports. Crazy. Anyway, power over Ethernet, okay? So that's nice, because then I run an Ethernet line from that switch, it's in a closet, up through my attic, down to various ceiling spots, including one in my garage, and the Wi-Fi access points Ubiquiti sells are power over Ethernet. So they get their data and their power from one jack. You plug that in, and that's now on the multi-port switch. So you can then control it, because all of these switches are smart. You can say, you 2.4 gigahertz, you both. And so and the other thing we did before we installed these is did a survey of Wi-Fi in the house to see where the dead spots were, to see where we wanted it. That's why we have one in the garage, where we wanted access points. So nice. We were very careful about where we placed these. And then I also, and you may or may not want to do this, I also ran more Ethernet down through the walls for some hardwired Ethernet ports at the workstations, at the TV, places where you'd want hardwire. So the Wi-Fi coverage is excellent, and the hardwire Ethernet is excellent. You can say this device, that's an IoT device, keep that on the my insecure land's called Godzilla. My secure land's called Mothra. So all the IoT devices are on Godzilla, 2.4 gigahertz. All the computers and phones are on Mothra. The only time I have to break the exception on that is for things like printing. A printer should be an IoT device, But computers don't like a printer to be on a different Wi-Fi network, and printers don't like it either.
Well,
so you may find there are some IoT devices that want to be on the main secure network. I make exceptions for those, but otherwise you have complete control. Now this is thousands of dollars I'm talking here, and I did it during COVID because we had a kid at home, Zooming to school. My wife was working from home, and I wanted to make sure that we could do the podcast from home. So I wanted to make sure that we had a very solid setup. Plus, I was really tired of hearing, "Honey, the internet's down." I'm the guy they blame when the internet's down.
Are you streaming a game again?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have to tell the kid, "Get off Netflix. Get off Netflix. I'm trying to work here." You don't want to have to do that. So gigahertz, you've got a fast enough connection to do that if you have a good router set up. So if price were no object and you were crazy, that's how I would do it. But you could also, Eero's very good. You've got a good system, and you can buy more beacons. Some of them have hardware. A lot of people in the chat
are saying they've got Eero systems too that just work quite well. So yeah, if you feel like, you know, in your early mornings when you've got your lamp strapped to your head, you want to mess around with the networks, then it's really cool to do the Ubiquiti. But if you want something that's doesn't need to be as configured and will still give you that connection that you're looking for, I think Eero is fine.
Yeah. I mean, there are a number. Ubiquiti also offers little routers and switches that you can use to do some of this as well. So, it depends how fancy you want to get.
Fancy, huh?
Very configurable, yeah.
I'm a first time, long time, started programming with cards and started listening to you when I was still in the Marine Corps and stationed at Pendleton. And
nice.
Thank you guys for having me.
Nice. I went to school, Mary Fay Pendleton.
You did?
Yeah. No, it's North Carolina? Where is Pendleton?
Mary Fay Pendleton is in California.
Okay, of course it is. Pendleton.
Oceanside.
Yeah. You went to school in California? Mm-hmm. This is all news to me. I'm learning about him all the time. So what did you do in the Corps?
I was an avionics man. I was on the development team for the Marine Corps Super Cobra. Right?
Wow.
And I served through from the Persian Gulf through Desert Storm 1, and that was what I did.
Well, thank you for doing what you did for our country and us. That's really great.
You're welcome.
And when did you retire?
Actually, I did my last tour of duty. I was working for the California State Military Reserve, and I was the officer in charge of plans and operations for a little while.
So cool.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
Well, it's an honor talking to you, sir. I appreciate it. And
be well.
And if you wanted to go whole hog or whole squirrel, I really like the Ubiquiti system. And by the way, it also is capable of doing security. They have their own camera system, which works on the same network. And they have a doorbell and all that stuff. I haven't done that, but it sounds like you like to do the Internet of Things stuff. So this would be a good way to go. It's a good company, American company, former Apple engineers. There have been problems in the past with them pushing out some beta versions of their software that weren't reliable, but I've had nothing but success with them over the last 3 or 4 years, so I recommend
it. You don't mind me tossing out a micro question, and that is, what's your current state of password programs?
Bitwarden is our sponsor, and we love them. They're open source. They're free for individual users forever because it's open source. You can get a family plan for $3.33 a month, get the whole family on it. I think most password managers are
they do try to parallel for
feature
sure.
Parity.
But I think Bitwarden does a great job of trying to get all of the latest and greatest features.
The only one I'd stay away from at this point is LastPass, who was for a long time a sponsor, but they kind of screwed the pooch. I
was aware.
Yeah. 1Password's good. A lot of you probably use 1Password. Mac people like 1Password. There are many other choices. There's open source choices like KeePassXC. But I'm a big Bitwarden fan. I feel Bitwarden's great. And Scooter X in our IRC says passkeys, but I think he's being sarcastic. I say nuts to passkeys.
I still, Leo, you got the power here. Maybe, with the nuts and the tail,
Squirrel, baby.
You can set a a sarcasm font and just make it be right a little backwards italic font, so that if you say it, everybody just knows you're being.
I should, or just sarcasm on, sarcasm off. Yeah, just like that. Hey, a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much.
I forgot, but Steve Gibson had a passkeys, a much better passkeys setup called SQRL, Squirrel. I might have to wear this on Tuesday for Steve.
Yes. You should. I'm going to wear this again.
In fact, I might have to wear this for Andy Anatko because he just loves taking pictures of
take
squirrels.
A photo of you.
Frankly, this one costume serves all.
Well,
what do you want to do now? We're having some fun now, aren't we?
What do you want to do, John?
Should I go around trick-or-treating in this outfit?
Maybe some suggestions that,
I like it when trick-or-treaters are 6 feet tall. It's always exciting when they come to the door. You never know.
Okay, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Well,
I'd like some candy, please.
I see someone hanging out in the call. Lil's been hanging out, and we need to
All
talk.
right. All right. We have a lot of regulars in the rooms, and which is great. We love you, but we may not take all your calls because we want to give everybody a chance. It's nice to get new callers on. Hi, Lil. Dr. Mom is in the house.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
You're down at Camp Pendleton, just around the corner.
Exactly, but they fly over us all the time. I have a interesting question, and then if we have time, a story about a generational difference.
Yes.
But let's hit the question first. I was trying to download a Google Calendar for one of our local sports teams, professional teams, so I could keep an eye on when the games were.
Uh-huh.
And they're now using a company called, I would say Rocket. It's ROKT.
Yes.
You go there, and I'm going to duck away from because I wanted to show you this. Duck away. Notice what they're saying.
Can you go full screen so I can read this? I want to, not you, Dr. Mom. No, they can do it. You don't do anything. They have the power.
There, though.
Dodge out of the way.
Yeah, let me get out of the way. And
I can see your email address in there, Dr. Mom.
Oh, we don't want to show your email address.
Oh, I thought I'd put, okay, basically it says,
thank you.
It doesn't say we want permission to access this calendar. And it says we want permission to access and delete every calendar Google associates with.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that?
This is a problem with these permissions, and you see this all the time, which is they're not very granular. So in order to get permission to read and write a calendar, they have to ask for global permissions, which means they will have permission to delete a calendar, any calendar. But you're not necessarily, I don't expect them, that Rocket's a good company. They're not going to be in there messing with your calendar. I wouldn't give it to Joe from Fresno, but Rocket's fine. Or rocked. They're probably rocked.
I was thinking
however
rocked.
they pronounce it.
Yeah, they're probably rocked. But the idea is they can't say we just want permission to access this one calendar. There's no facility for that from Google. You see this with Apple too, and it's confusing to people and it's bothersome to people because you give somebody access to your photos. Apple's nice; they give you some granularity, so you can say allow this one photo or allow all the photos. But a lot of times the permission has to be global. That's just what Android or Apple or whoever offers. And so these companies don't have the ability to say, we just want to touch this one calendar. You'll see this with SMS messaging. When you sign up for Telegram or WhatsApp, it has to ask permission to read and write your text messages because it's going to use that to authenticate you. And people go, wait a minute, I don't want you reading and writing all my text messages. There's no way for them to say, well, just this once. Apple's I think moving in that direction. I would not worry about it. I subscribe to the San Francisco 49ers calendar in my Google Calendar. I like to have that there so I know when the games are.
I wish they just did a published link, though, instead of this.
That's the best way. It's really, they're going through an e-commerce platform, and that's because they kind of want to keep track of you.
Yep. That's what I'm reading about here.
I have season tickets to the game. I mean, they'll get it to me.
The Padres? Who are you going to?
Padres. That's where I live.
I know.
But,
I know.
I want to be able to sit there and look ahead of time and say, okay, there's 6 games coming up. I have 4 tickets to them, so I share them with my family.
Yeah.
You know, do you guys want the tickets? You know, I'm
so
taking
Rocked
the grandkids to this one.
Is a mission-driven, hyper-growth community of curious explorers intent on unleashing the potential of e-commerce. You know what that means? We're going to spy on you so we know everything about you.
I mean, that's to me is why, because there is a Google Calendar just for the Padres.
Yeah, just do that.
But
You don't have to do the Rocks
It isn't
calendar.
updated very often. I mean, right now, a lot of the games aren't there.
This is, by the way, coming from the Padres, not from, the Padres contracted with Rocked because they just want to know a few things about you. You're the Padres fan, like your home address.
They already have my credit card number. They don't need anything else.
Anymore. I'm reading about the specific integration, and it talks about the analytics they're able to grab whenever you set your calendar this way.
I understand that.
And it integrates with their CRM as well.
But I can assure you that if Rocked all of a sudden were accessing other calendars, you would hear about it, and the Padres would hear about it, and the Padres would be very upset because they want you to use this. They don't want you to be offended by it, right?
Honestly, what this boils down to is probably exactly what you were saying. The calendar that's there is not getting updated, and they realized, if we just integrate this with this system that we have where we have to go ahead and put in the dates, then we don't have to worry about it. It'll work on its own. So it's a bit of laziness.
Look what it says here. This is in their calendar integration page. Inspire customer action in the moment. Engage your audience through an entirely new mobile marketing channel. Their calendars. Derive results and measure impact with personalized outreach to each customer sent when subscribers are most likely to engage. So what's going to happen? You're going to see a Padres game a week out. They know you have that in your calendar. They are going to put an invitation to buy tickets in your calendar, that kind of thing.
I hate that, personally.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of stuff I don't want. I just want to be able to see when the games are.
For almost all teams, there are fan-driven calendars that will not have that problem. And they'll be up to date because once the Padres set their schedule, they're not going to change it. So we don't get
rainouts here. It's not an issue.
Yeah. I mean, and if usually fans are pretty good about keeping those up to date. I pay for a service because of my business called Forecast with a K. And this is a calendar that puts in, like, today is National Car Day. Right?
Yes.
Fellow Travelers premieres on Showtime. It's International Internet Day.
What? This is cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not cheap, but this way I know everything that's coming up, and I add this to my...
Can I use your calendar?
Yeah, I'll give you my login.
And don't forget, tomorrow is National Haunted Refrigerator Day.
Exactly.
It's the day to clean out the scary things from your refrigerator, the old science project.
I thought it was an Internet of Things joke. Okay.
Oh. Nope. It's there. But
so if I do find ghosts in there, I should leave them then, since this is just about science projects?
Yeah, it's about haunted refrigerator. Got time for a cute story?
Sure.
I make Lego and stuff, and I actually made the Lego typewriter. Well, my 5-year-old grandson comes over, looks at his punching the keys, and he's, this is good.
What is this we're using?
No, he sits there and he says, starts typing out messages. And then he looks at me and says, Grandma, where's the send button?
Oh, where's the send button?
Where's the send
Wait till
button?
he gets to carriage return.
Oh, well, he thought that was cute because it has a manual carriage return.
Ding.
But he's sitting there going like, how do I send this? And I'm like, no, we don't send this.
Yeah.
We print it out and hand it out to the people.
Isn't that cute? Where's the send button?
Where's the send button? It made me feel
I can't believe your grandson is that old already. Wow.
He's 5. And speaking of sarcasm, I don't know if you can read my shirt, but it says sarcasm is my secret power.
Yeah.
That's delightful.
I hate sarcasm, and I understand why our last caller said you should indicate it, because you never know if it's true or not, right? But I also love sarcasm because you never know if it's true.
I see, and I have this problem where sometimes people don't read the sarcasm that I'm throwing. I'm good at picking it up, but sometimes people don't see it when I'm doing it, and so then I have to clarify afterward. Yeah. No, I was sarcasm.
I usually put like a wink emoji or an LOL or something at the end of it if I'm being snarky, just so they know I'm kidding.
That's a good idea. If I had an emoji.
If I had a physical, because it's only when it's usually whenever I'm talking out loud.
I just put a nut after each one. Hey, look.
Leo, I'm an old married lady. Please cover those up.
These are acorns. What are you talking? Thank you, Dr. Mom.
Thank you, Dr. Mom.
Press the send button. So before you run out and subscribe, and I will give you my password because it's a company account.
Yay.
It's $100 a year.
Oh, my.
It is not cheap, or $10 a month. It is not cheap this forecast. It's really designed for broadcasters and people like that. Back when I was a DJ, back in the day, on the radio, we would subscribe to, they would come in mimeographed newsletters every week that would have stuff like that, what the days are. Because DJs, you're always looking for a little something to interject.
Today is National Blah 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 Day, yeah.
And they would have little factoids about, superstars. Katy Perry once was support host to an NFL football game or something.
Right.
And then you would be able to say that in the beginning of the song. And so I used to subscribe to a bunch of those. They were much more expensive than this. So now I feel like this is a bargain. At $99.95. A bargain. All right. What do we do now? I'm looking at the timer. The timer says it's time for an ad. Is what the timer
is it?
says.
It's time for an ad.
And then more of your calls at 888-724-2884. You got that?
On this auspicious Halloween episode of Ask the Tech Guy.
Is that why we're dressed funny?
That's why we're dressed funny.
I was puzzled. Oh, now I get it. It's Halloween Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
I'm excited. Do you trick or treat? Do you go out?
No. I've actually not.
Do you have trick or treaters at your what is it? 3-story walk up with a 2-car garage?
3-story shoebox with a tandem garage.
Yeah. Do you get trick or treaters in there?
We actually haven't. One year I did have my lights on. We never got anyone.
Oh, isn't that depressing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you don't bother to turn the lights on.
No, don't mess with.
We are in the countryside. We are so remote. There's no kids that go out there. They'd be afraid to go out there, I think.
Yeah, I'd be spooked.
Yeah. Which is too bad because it's fun to see the kids in their costume.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to stand out in front and go, hey, nuts, get your nuts here. It's too
is our
bad.
next sponsor nuts.com?
It's too bad our sponsor nuts.com isn't on today's show.
That would have been
the
perfect.
one sponsor I'm dressed for. You could do treasure chests or something. No, our show today brought to you by, and I mean quite literally, CacheFly. For over 20 years, CacheFly has the track record for high-performing, ultra-reliable content delivery, serving over 5,000 companies in over 80 countries. Organizations consistently choose CacheFly for scalability, reliability, and unrivaled performance. CacheFly's revolutionary storage optimization system, we use this, ensures your holiday system remains jolly. The system creates private partitions dedicated entirely to your use, which means you get 100% bandwidth to ensure your content remains king. No more cache misses, right? Your content's already on the CacheFly CDN. Keep your content and data primed closer to your customers, maintaining optimal speeds and ensuring quicker content delivery no matter where your customers are. I think they beta tested this because we've had this for years, and it really makes a huge difference. Let CacheFly supercharge your images and watch your web content soar to new heights of efficiency and performance with CacheFly's smart image optimization service. This is a great solution because you put images there, but it'll automatically size them for almost any size screen, and that means they load faster. It's optimized for whatever your customers or your clients or your visitors are using, so it loads fast. Really, really fast. By keeping your content on the edge, CacheFly ensures your delivery speed is instantaneous. CacheFly offers a video-on-demand cache, VOD. That you can, and we use this as well, witness a transformative reduction in loading times. You say goodbye to the buffering blues. You will immediately and permanently drive your cache hit ratio to 100% using CacheFly's VOD cache. I think we're kind of like we are the CacheFly customers. We have used them for more than a decade. We love them. And we've used every technology before they even offer it to the public. They're really great. I just love CacheFly. Ultra-low latency video streaming will deliver video to over 1 million concurrent users. You get lightning-fast gaming, delivers downloads faster, zero lag, glitches, or outages. You get mobile content optimization, automatic simple image optimization. It's the only CDN content delivery network built for throughput. Deliver rich media content up to 10 times faster than traditional delivery methods, up to 30% faster than other major CDNs. And they were very, very flexible with us because as podcasters, and actually this is probably true in a lot of businesses, we have very spiky load. You know, everybody downloads a show shortly after it comes out, that it's quiet for a while. And so getting the billing right is really key to this, and you can do that with CacheFly. Month-to-month billing, flexible for as long as you need, then discounts once you figure it out for fixed terms. You design your own contract when you switch to CacheFly. And by the way, with CacheFly's elite managed packagings, you get incredible VIP treatment. Your dedicated account manager is with you from day one, ensuring a smooth implementation and reliable 24/7 support when needed. We've been using CacheFly practically since the very beginning. We wouldn't do anything else. For October, jumpstart your journey with CacheFly with a complimentary first month, or give it a whirl with a free 5 terabyte account. Well, look at that. Simply go to CacheFly.com/twit. CacheFly, CacheFly.com/twit. You hear me say it all the time at the beginning of our shows. CacheFly. Thank you, CacheFly. All right. I am now at your mercy.
Well, we have I think Darren's been hanging out in the call for a while.
Hello, Darren. That'll wake him up.
Indeed. I'm awake.
Come over to the Stargate.
Willkommen.
He's in the ocean.
Bienvenue. Oh, we can't hear you, Darren.
Star
Is that our fault?
No,
there we go.
Nah, you're working.
That's a good little pop-up there. Unmute. Yeah, thank you for that. So, thank you very much for taking my call. I'll do my best to stay focused, but like my dog, I get easily distracted by squirrels.
Where are you calling from? The mountains, it looks like.
I currently reside just on the east side of Camp Pendleton, so a lot of SoCal.
Oh, my goodness.
A lot of SoCal today.
But this San Diegans.
And
where's this picture from?
I believe this is the Central Coast. I'm trying to remember where I took this picture.
Are you a pilot?
I am, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's my left wing tip there flying up the coast.
I'm always jealous of pilots.
I think there's Morro Rock way out in the back there.
Morro Bay, sure. Pilots get this great view of the world, you know, and I think that's a lot of the reason people fly is for that pure experience up in the sky there.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. I love it.
What can we do for you?
Yeah, so I have a mobile data related question. I have a Pixel 7 and I have pay-as-I-go data. And is there a way to stop video ads from loading while on mobile networks?
Oh, yeah, that's troublesome.
Yes, there is. It's an ad blocker, basically. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of ways of doing this. I will tell you how I do it. And it's kind of my favorite. It's a site called NextDNS and nextdns.io. And the way it works on mobile is it installs a profile that instead of using the carrier's DNS, you know, the DNS is what links you up to sites, including those annoying video ads. Those usually come from a different server, an ad-based server. So when you use NextDNS, it takes over your DNS on the phone. On an iPhone, it puts in a profile. It works with the Android, and I can't remember how it does that. Probably puts in a profile. So the whole phone's behavior is different. You're no longer going through T-Mobile or whoever's DNS server. You're going through the NextDNS server. And when you go to NextDNS, you can then say, okay, this is just for my phone, and these are the things I want to block. We've talked before about something called a Pi hole. In fact, Father Robert set up a Pi hole on Know How, which is a Raspberry Pi that basically filters. It's an ad blocker that filters all your traffic as it's coming in. This is essentially a Raspberry Pi hole in the sky. Mm-hmm. NextDNS does all of that stuff. So it can block ads. It can block those annoying video ads. You know, the only thing it can't block is if the video ads are coming from inside the house. What we call first-person content. So when you're and you wouldn't want to block that when you go to twit.tv and you press the play button on one of our shows, that's coming from our site. You wouldn't want to block that.
Yeah, and that's fine. I get the fact that ads are a necessary evil. It's just, can I stop them from running up my mobile data bill?
Right.
Yeah, no, I think it's completely reasonable. Mm-hmm. There are a number of really, look, we're ad supported, so I like ads, but there are a number of very good reasons not to support ads, particularly the ads that are embedded on web pages. There's a security issue. There's a bandwidth issue. It slows the site down. And lately on mobile, there are sites, I'm not going to name names, but there are sites that are unusable because they have so much stuff And the ads are now sliding up and down.
And what's most frustrating to me is then you use the site without all of that stuff, and it works so well. And you're going, why are
they doing
this? Why are you doing this?
Well, they have to monetize. Right?
Yes, and unfortunately it gets to a point. But yeah, exactly what you're talking about here, where you only have so much data to use, and if it's all being spent on just getting these video ads to load, I also use NextDNS, and it's fantastic.
You can use it at home. You can use it anywhere.
That's what makes it great, is that you're probably, when you're at home, connected to Wi-Fi, so it's not so much of an issue. But when you're out and about, that's where you want to save that data. And so something like NextDNS comes in and helps make sure that that stuff is not.
And it lets you have different settings for everything. So I'll show you. I'll quickly run over to my NextDNS. It's next. Oh, it wants my 2FA.
He's got lots of passwords.
Can you get my phone? It's in the tree, the third oak tree from the left, I believe. I think I put it there. But what you can have is different configurations for different devices, and it'll give you a 6-digit code. Yeah, it's in my office. It'll give you a 6-digit code, and when you set up NextDNS on that Android device, you'll say use this code. So you can have different settings for home, office, even by computer. Now, NextDNS is free, but only for the first 300,000 hits a month. After that, I think it's 99 cents a month. It's not expensive, certainly less than mobile bandwidth. And the thing is, once you pay for it, it's unlimited. And I use it I use it at home. I use it on all my devices. Thank you, John. I do want to log into this. Now, let's see if face recognition works when you're a squirrel. It does not. It says, why does a squirrel want to use your phone? All right. Oh, give me a home where my acorns may roam. I gotta do everything. What is the pin for this? It's so funny. I'm not used to this. Okay, NextDNS. It's good to use two-factor. It really is. But when you're a squirrel, maybe not. Okay, now I'm logged in. So this device is not using NextDNS because we're on our own corporate network. You can show this. There's nothing on here but it will show. It shows you how I can install this on a variety of devices. There's even a command line client, and there's different settings. So you see, I have home, and I have Leo, and I could show you the security settings and so forth. There's all sorts of safe browsing features. DNS, I mean, this is all for security. I mean, this is really nicely done. There's also privacy, and you can use these ad blocker lists are the lists you'll end up using. And they have a whole variety of these that you can use. And what's nice is this isn't running on your phone. Your phone just goes through their DNS. There's also good parental control, which is pretty cool. Your phone isn't doing any work. All of this is going through their servers. So in effect, it's the same speed. In fact, maybe even faster than your carrier's DNS. There's even logs. There's analytics. I mean, this thing is really impressive. So if I want to set up this device, I can either change my DNS settings. Let's see what it says for Android. I think there's probably a oh no, you have to turn on. There's a setting. There's also an app for Android. So it's absolutely doable.
Great.
That's one way. I mean, there are many, many other ways. Any ad blocker will give you the same benefit. The thing about doing NextDNS is it blocks it everywhere. If you had an ad blocker for Firefox, for instance, you use Firefox Focus, which is their privacy browser. Yeah, it'd work in your browser, but those apps aren't going to get blocked. This works even in apps because they all use DNS to get their content.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go check that out right now.
I'm glad to give them a
thanks
plug.
for taking my call. And hey, Micah, do you know why pirating is so addictive?
Why is pirating so addictive?
Because after you lose your first hand, you get hooked.
That sounds like an Amazon Echo joke. The worst.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There are others like Quad 9, 9.9.9.9. There are a number of DNS, third-party DNS providers you can use. Mm-hmm. Not CacheFly.
What is it? 1.1.1.1.
Yeah, and 1.1.1.2 and 1.1.1.3. It is. I always
What are they?
I always want to call them CacheFly, but they're not. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about.
You and I both know. Cloudflare.
CacheFly, Cloudflare. Anyway, there are various things that do this similarly. I just find XDNS the most powerful.
Great. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
you. Take care. Will it block the HBO ads that were not there before? So it's hard to block first-party stuff. You don't want to block first-party stuff because that would mean you couldn't watch video on a site. And generally, ad blockers only block stuff that's coming from known ad servers. But you can blacklist a server. So if you know that all of HBO's videos are coming from, video.hbo.server.com, you can block that specific address, and those you just see a hole there. You'd still see the hole, but you wouldn't see the video. Okay, what else?
How about a voicemail?
I'd love a voicemail.
Hi, this is Eric from Racine, Wisconsin. I have a recording that a friend made of my mother, who is 95 years old, telling her life story. It's in two parts, about 3 hours long, and the recording is in .m4a format. Now, I can listen to it in iTunes. I'm wondering, is there a program or an app or some way I can have this transcribed so I can print it out and share it with my family and relatives so they can read it at their leisure?
What a wonderful thing to have.
Thanks very much. Love your show.
Oh, I'm so thrilled that he has that. I want to do this with my mom, my 90-year-old mom. Same thing. And she could go on for more than 3 hours. That's for sure. So what is an M4A file?
An M4A file is a special, I guess, in comparison to some of the other formats that are out there, video file it's compressed. But what it does is it works with, it's kind of like it was made for iPhone in the before times.
It's old.
It's an old school format that it's like iTunes and iPhone. Back in the day, whenever you were trying to put like a music video on your iPod, it was often an M4A format. Now, to transcribe, it sounds like, so
there are a lot of choices
exactly.
for this.
I was thinking, if we wonder if he's on the Mac, what was that great?
Whisper.ai.
Thank you.
And there are a number in the App Store. If you search for Whisper.ai, if you're on the Mac, this works. If you search the Apple Store for Whisper, you'll see a number of apps you can buy. One is let's see. No, that's not.
That
it.
isn't Whisper. Yeah,
that's not it. Let's maybe .ai it. Because I have one on here that I use all the time. Is it ICO? I can't remember. Jason Snell recommended one. Yeah. Anyway, probably this one is speech-to-text transcribe. These are not free, by the way. They will take M4A files. Almost any of them will. There are websites that will also do this. Whisper is nice on the Mac because there is actually a free... Really, you can get Whisper AI for free on your Mac. It's just an AI system that does speech to text very well. And so if you go to GitHub and look at Whisper, you can see the instructions for downloading and running on a Mac, or I think probably a PC. But it's a little complicated. So these guys have wrapped it around an application. They usually charge a nominal fee, not a subscription, for the use of it. The other possibility is one of many AI text-to-speech generators. I've used Otter AI in the past. Mm-hmm. The idea with these is that they will listen to meeting audio and give you a transcription or something like that. I've told you before, I had a friend, Danny's a great guy. He's an engineer. He carries a recorder around with me. He said, do you mind if I record our conversation? So I'm sitting around with my friends around a table. He records it. After it records it, sends it out to Whisper AI, transcribes it, then sends it to ChatGPT, which then analyzes it, summarizes it, and within, like our conversation finished, within 30 seconds, he says, let me read back some of the highlights of our conversation and some action items. And it was like, wow.
Wow.
So that's what some of these things will do. And you can do it for free if you're willing to do a little geeking around. What is the one that Paris Martineau uses for her? A lot of reporters, of course, do interviews, and they've got audio recordings of their interviews, and they want transcriptions. It makes it much easier. But I can't remember which one she recommended.
Did she use Trent?
I don't think
okay, because that's one that Jason Snell used to use for
Trent.
I think it's TRINT for Apple finance calls.
Yeah. You used to have to type those by hand. We've come a long way, baby.
Quite a long way.
It's hard with a hook. Or pause.
Yeah, or pause.
There are quite a few of these. There's some free, there's some inexpensive. A number of them have free trials.
Yes.
3 hours is a lot. Usually the free trial is an hour of audio. So what a great idea for doing this. You even can do it now on Android devices. The Google Pixel has built-in transcription, so you could just open the file and it would transcribe it. There's lots of ways to do it. You could upload it to YouTube.
That's a great idea.
Not the best, but not awful.
And it's improved for sure.
Yeah.
If you are on a Mac, that program we were talking about is Mac Whisper, which is basically using Whisper, but it's wrapped in Mac.
Yeah. Makes it easy to use.
It's just very easy. You can quite literally drop that video file onto it. And
this is a rapidly changing field. You know, we used to do, or we still do, transcripts of our shows because it's easier to search and so forth. And we paid a lot of money for a human to do that. Steve Gibson still does, Elaine Ferris. But nowadays, there's so many ways to do it cheap and free using AI.
And it's quite impressive.
I think AI does a pretty good job. I just did a quick search for transcribed text, and there are hundreds of solutions here. So what I would look for is somebody to do it for free. You know, maybe as a free trial, or maybe on a device you have, because 3 hours is a long time. You might have to pay a little bit for it. It's worth it, though, isn't it? So Paris used Trent. Okay. Wad Fan in our IRC says Paris used.
Oh, sweet.
Trent.
Yeah, the thing that I liked about Trent was that.
TRINT.
Yeah, TRINT.
Yes, I think
did
that's
say
the one
Trent.
used.
That's my fault. I said
that's
Trent.
That's just your St. Joseph, Missouri weekend.
It is what I liked about Trent is that it ties into a lot of different services. So it has like a Dropbox watch folder. So you could put stuff into that Dropbox folder, videos, and then it would automatically pull it over and transcribe it.
That's actually what Dan was doing, but he was using an open source tool to do that. So he had to build a little. Thing is, you know, it depends how much money you want to put
Exactly. Right. Yeah, I think Trent has a pretty good start.
See a little trial free or whatever. Trial. Let's see. Pricing. Starter, $48. Oh, that's a little much.
There's a trial. Yeah.
Start free trial. I wonder how many hours you can do for free. Yeah. See what you have to log in to see what's included.
You're like,
Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. 7 days access, up to 3 files. You might be enough to get that one M4A file transcribed. Almost everybody will understand M4A. If they don't, it's easy enough to turn that into an MP3. There are lots of different tools out there that'll convert to MP3. If M4A is just kind of MP3 is MPEG 3. M4A is MPEG 4.
Almost certainly iTunes, you can export and then choose to export it as MP3.
Did he say he was on a Mac?
No, but did say using iTunes, so it could be Windows. But in any case, iTunes itself will let you export it as an MP3.
Okay.
All right.
Should I do an email?
Yeah, let's do an email. I think email will be good.
Oh, look, they're right there.
They realize that I have limited range. iPhone 15 camera from Todd. Hi, Todd. Is there a way to force the new iPhone to shoot at 24 megapixels? I've been testing the main lens at 1x, and not all are shooting at 24. So the iPhone now is, 48 megapixels natively, but actually prefers 24 because it does pixel binning. So can you show us how?
And they want to
always be at 24 megapixels.
Always shoot at 24 megapixels. Yes, I just have to remember.
That's the native, or is it 12? 12's the native. That's what it is. That's why he's struggling.
There we go. Photo mode. Okay, so let me. Do we have space for AirPlay 1, or should I just talk it through? Yes to AirPlay 1. Okay, I'm sharing to AirPlay 1. And we'll pop this up on the screen. So we go into the camera settings, and then we go into formats. And within formats, you'll see an option that says photo capture, under which you'll see photo mode. And in photo mode, you can choose, I want it to be 24 megapixels or I want it to be 12 megapixels. And that's how you choose.
And that's permanent.
Yeah, I've got mine set to 24 megapixels. And so it says, photos on the main camera at 1x can be saved at 12 or 24 megapixels. Photos taken with night mode, macro, flash, or portrait lighting will be... So this could be what's happening with Todd, was it?
Yes.
If you're taking a photo that doesn't have enough light, so it's in night mode, if you're taking a macro photograph, if you're taking a photo that has the flash turned on, or if you're taking a photo that has portrait lighting turned on, those are taken at 12 megapixels. So even when you have 24 megapixels turned on under photo mode, as you can see here, it's still going to drop that to 12 megapixels for certain types of photographs. So just keep that in mind, that it does try to reduce the file size, because the idea is if it was taking it at that higher 24 megapixels while it's in night mode, macro, flash, or portrait lighting, it's not going to look good. And so you're going to get a better shot with the 12 megapixels.
So according to Apple, this is interesting. On iPhone 15 models, the main camera resolution is set to 24 megapixels by default.
Yeah, that's how mine came, in fact, was
So I'm not sure
24.
why his was not 24, but that is the default.
Yeah. So it'll only switch away in certain modes back to 12.
Yeah, because for instance, if it needs to gather more light, it's going to do fewer megapixels so that it can have more light
More to
coming
play
in.
with, exactly.
Yeah. Now, there is... I seem to remember a setting that says don't reset to the default.
Yes, that is a whole nother part of the camera. In fact, this is great. We just had an episode of iOS Today where we went in depth with literally every setting of the camera. But if you go into preserve settings under camera, here is where you can say all of this. You can say, hey, I want you to keep the camera mode as it is. Whenever I set it, I want you to set the exposure as it was every time.
Yeah.
And then you can set it to the Pro RAW and the resolution control
So
as
if
well.
you have a favored mode,
yes,
you can set that all up and keep it that way.
Yep, in
But if
preserve
you don't do that, it will default back. And for some of us, I have it so it always jumps back to this default because I do weird settings and stuff, and I don't want it to keep in that mode.
Yep.
Yeah, when I pick up the phone, I want it to be kind of in a known state. Anyway, there's some solutions for you. Thank you for the email.
Yes, that's atg@twit.tv.
Now what? It's really hard. My peripheral vision is limited, so I can't. Normally I can see more.
It's okay, Leo.
I have to turn my head quite a bit, and I'm getting a crick in my neck, to be honest.
How about let's pick up on Chris? They've had their hand raised.
Oh, Chris Scourin, Mr. Coffee Guy from Miami Beach. No, every time I say that, he gets mad at me.
Yeah, also, that's a different Chris.
Oh. Well, let's try the other Chris, and then we'll do Chris. I don't know who we're talking to. Hello, Chris.
Hey.
Where are you calling from?
Where would you like me to be calling from? I'm in
Miami Beach.
Hey.
I know, it's Miami. How many cups in are we, just so we know?
All right. Well, I'm in about 4 cups easy. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get past Micah there. So let's start off. Good afternoon, my friends. I don't want to keep Micah out of the picture ever. So hello, Micah.
Hi.
Rosemary Orchard, and you really crushed it this week on iOS Today with the maps. So I just wanted to say that.
What did you do?
I just really appreciate that.
We talked about maps. Basically, there are a bunch of new features in maps, and so we talked about all of the new stuff that's been added. And it was, one of our shorter episodes because we had that live event afterwards.
Boy, is that worth breaking away early for the Qualcomm event? Holy cow!
So much information.
Yes, I'm being sarcastic.
Oh yeah, sorry.
And I caught that, and that's okay with me because after 3 or 4 cups, I'll catch almost anything that's flying through midair.
Let me throw something your way. So I got it. Oh man, these
I got it.
bracelets are loud.
So I wanted to thank you for having me on. I don't know if you were going to go over to Chris Marquardt or any of the other Chris.
Nobody.
So
We're not going to anybody else. Just you.
We're not going to anybody. Just me, huh?
Just you.
You missed me already. Well, it's not always easy to get on, and John's
honestly, to be honest,
in about 6 cups. So
I get hate mail if we have you on every time. So we got it. Oh, look, he just did the
hate
thing.
Mail, really?
Well, they just say because people say you have the same people always on. So we like to spread our regulars out. But you're such a character. I always enjoyed talking to you, to be honest. So I will let you on. How did you do the fireworks? Do that again.
I think I just did like this. That's it. I don't know how the firework. There we go. Oh, okay. So the thumbs up.
That's one
Apple
thumb
software.
up. Don't
That's
flip me off.
thumbs.
You don't want to
Actually,
see what happens there. Put two thumbs in the middle.
I would never.
Now do jazz
that to you,
hands.
my friend.
Now do jazz hands.
There you go.
That is a feature of the Macintosh that takes many people off guard because
I didn't know.
It affects. It's part of the new iOS or macOS Sonoma.
It's very frustrating,
and it affects everything.
It's
like
the
your
camera
Zoom.
system. Yeah.
So you could turn that off as you'll notice when you're using your camera on your Macintosh using Sonoma. There's a green box in the menu bar up on the right there. If you click on that, you can see you can turn reactions off, or if they're off, you can turn them on.
There was a bug in it early on where it would freeze the camera system. And so that happened to me during iOS Today one time.
That's not good.
Which was annoying. Nah, that's been fixed.
There are a variety of gestures. There's thumbs up.
There's thumbs up. There's you could do the rock hands, and I think that makes lasers happen. You can do a heart.
Do a heart for us, Chris. Let's see a heart. Can you do a heart? Aw. Do it right in the middle.
There you go.
Do it right in the middle.
Weird. It's
right in the middle.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, they're coming out of your face.
There they are.
That's
Sweet.
good. So there's it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
For the
it
first
is fun.
time.
Exactly. The first, precisely that. For the first time.
I didn't even know they were there because
most
there's
people
18
don't.
million features now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the reasons I mention it, because I think there'll be people who say, what? Some people will want it, some people won't.
Your Honor, I am not a heart.
That's a feature. Yeah, that's a feature. That's not a big deal at all. So what I wanted to find out, everybody in the chat's been amazing, especially Scooter X. I guess he was talking about the Eero 7 for about $5.99. So
those just came out, right?
Google Fiber.
Did.
That's brand new.
Those just came out. Yeah, those are brand new. I'm going to give that a little bit of time. Probably go with maybe 3 of the Wi-Fi 6 Plus. I guess on the Eero, I think would be good enough for me for now for the condo. I got under 1,500 square feet, but I've been having some drops lately, so I figured maybe that would work. I'll give it a try. I'll go to Target, pick them up, whatever. One thing I'm kind of curious about lately is I've been getting mail, probably like most people, and I've been getting my first full name, last name, and whether I have a middle initial. I don't really like to put that out there, but I mean I do. But the problem is that they're not putting the full name off of the middle initial, but it's coming from a variety of different places. So I fixed the bank. I reached out to the Social Security Administration.
Wait a minute, stop. I've only had one cup of coffee. So Chris Scourin, that's your name. I think everybody knows that by now. You're saying there's a middle initial or there's not?
Well, they're using my first full name and last name and the middle initial.
J. Scourin.
Yeah. No.
Well, let's as an example.
What are they using? Are they using your middle name as a last name? Is that your problem?
No, it's the first full name, middle initial, and then last name.
Yeah.
And
it's coming on a variety of different
And
mail.
you don't want your full name being shown on your mail. Is that the problem?
Well, basically, yeah, I don't want to. I wouldn't have no name, but obviously, then you wouldn't get your mail. So I'm trying to think of. I'm already boring Leo. Look, he's like,
no. I get it.
You're calling in for this one.
It was just that we couldn't understand what the problem was.
I still don't understand, but I'm a squirrel.
The privacy issue.
You don't. Okay. When your mail comes to your apartment, you don't want people to say, "Oh, his middle name is Jehoshaphat." Is that it?
No, but I mean, isn't security supposed to be where? I mean, I called like 5 companies already and say you can just put Chris Scourin on the envelope, but I don't want the first full middle initial and last name on there. And I keep getting more of it.
You wonder where they're getting this information from.
Yes, and I called Social Security. I called my 3.
No, they're getting it from Equifax, TransUnion. You know
I called them. They said no.
Well, first thing to do is get your credit report and see what it says your name is.
I have all 3 of them, and that's exactly what it says. Yes. So wherever they're getting this from is not coming from the bank, the federal government, or the credit bureau. It's coming from somewhere, and I'm not giving it to them.
The only thing, then it's some data broker somewhere, right?
Okay.
What is your middle name?
No, don't tell us.
I'm not going to tell you.
He doesn't.
Why are you keeping it a secret?
He doesn't want us to know.
Because I'm a secretive type of person.
Okay. You're embarrassed by your middle
name. But I love you, Leo. I love you just the way you are, Leo, even as a squirrel.
Leo G.
So,
Report.
yeah, my middle name is Gordon. If I saw that on an envelope, and it's not spam, it's snail mail. It's postal service.
Well, it's been regular mail until I fixed it recently and said, can we just put on there just the first last name?
So where are you seeing this? In internet mail?
No, I'm getting this in regular U.S. mail.
U.S. mail.
Yeah.
And you've already checked with the credit reporting bureaus.
Yes.
And you've checked with the federal government, the Social Security Administration. So they let you say, I don't want my middle name to show up?
You don't have to. Well, it used to be with Social Security if you order one of those cards.
It has your middle
Social
name
Security card that you had to have your
middle name's on
name
my
it,
Social Security card.
You don't have to have it that way anymore. They change it to where you can just have your first name your way, no middle initial, and last name your way. It has to be close to the Social Security number, the birth, but you can change that. Unless somebody else out there has got different information, but that's what they've informed me of, which is less for people out there to get a hold of.
The U.S. Postal Service has a service for correcting addresses.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be another place to check because...
I love this outfit.
It may be in there. It's a strange thing to have two faces.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not you at all. You're not a two-faced person,
No,
Leo.
I'm not.
I mean, come on.
No.
You are wonderful. You are. Look at you.
I'm in here somewhere. So I'm thinking, or it could be, somebody like our sponsor, Melissa, which does address correction. When you enter in, when you go to a form and you enter in your name and address, it often suggests an address, sometimes with a zip +4 stuff I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
That's because they're using a service to autofill those. And it may be, my suspicion is, once your middle name gets out, you're kind of out of luck because those services are going to have it.
Well, no one knows the middle name. They just seem to.
Somebody knows
Somebody knows it somewhere.
They know that there is an initial associated with the first and last name. Because I used to do genealogy, and so I'm kind of wondering, you can have that removed, but wherever there could be a database. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking. Some people like to put the Social Security number out there, go with certain companies, and say, "Hey, no one can get me." Nowadays, I don't trust.
So here's one more place, thanks to Scooter X, to check, which is the Direct Mail.
Thank you, Scooter.
Direct Mail Marketing Association, the DMA. They also, for junk mail, they have a site, dmachoice.org. Such a lie. It's not a nonprofit. So this allows you, and I don't know how well this works, but it does allow you to go in there and say, I don't want to get mail like this. I don't want to get mail like this. You can opt out people who are deceased. You can, and I bet you can go in here and say, I don't want my middle name. I don't know. It's one more place to check. The problem is there's so many places. Maybe maybe a service like our sponsor, Delete Me, would go out there and you could say, everybody who has my middle name, delete them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. I think you're going to have to live with your middle name.
Well, if the middle name is not out there, the first full name, last name, and possible middle initial that they're using, which is correct, is out there. And I don't know where they're pulling that from. So in an age of security, I'm trying to limit.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's
it is.
everywhere.
I agree with you. Yeah.
That's the problem. And so you don't know where to go. It's interesting. You've already gone to the credit unions and you approve of the name they use for you?
Yeah, it's just my first and last name.
Yeah.
I can put
and that, by the way, that generally is by Social Security number. So that's why when you buy a car, they'll say, what's your Social Security number? Because they're going to look up your credit report. And that's where they would get your name. So it's good if the middle initial's not there.
Well, the credit bureaus are very interesting now. It's sort of like whatever comes their way. That's what they do. They don't voluntarily do things and make changes to things. They're sort of like, if that's the name that we got, Chris, then that's your address and everything. That's what you put down or somebody else put down out there for you. So we're just a collector. It's like the banks say the same thing right now. Well, you have to contact the company that you work with in order to get a refund. Yeah. No one wants to be accountable anymore.
Chris, is it mostly junk mail that has the name that you don't like?
Well, I got something from a cremation place up in Pennsylvania just the other day, so I don't think that counts.
That's interesting.
Just saying.
Why
that
would
is
a
interesting.
do you have family in Pennsylvania?
No.
Why would a cremation place in Pennsylvania?
I know some of the Amish in Pennsylvania where they have great pastries every holiday
we have
season.
a family plot in Erie, so I would expect to get that, but maybe not Chris. That's interesting.
No,
is it a national? Is it like the Neptune Society? A national cremation facility, or is it just in Pennsylvania? Are they saying
I'd
like
have to go check,
if
but I
you
don't
happen
want to walk
to
away from
die
the
in
camera.
Pennsylvania,
If you're in Pennsylvania, we got you.
We're here, we're ready. I don't understand.
You're covered.
I'm going to die in Miami, but I would like my ashes to be created in
I
Pennsylvania.
will only accept Pennsylvanian ashes.
So this is where delete me. This is where delete me. If you're concerned about privacy, this is where our sponsor delete me is really good.
I've had family members who had some stuff online that they didn't want online, and they used delete me, and it removed.
Lisa's used it as well. The problem is your name is out there, and it's in hundreds of places, not just data brokers, but hundreds of places, and so. Delete me will get it from the data brokers, but it might be other places.
Right.
And then the worst part is they repopulate. So you get rid of it, and then, oh, look, it came in over the transom. We know his middle name.
So
and
just
now
don't buy anything anymore. Don't take any loans.
Yeah, I think you just got to live with it, to be honest.
Change your middle name.
Yeah.
So if I give the money to you, Micah, to go get me my new Tesla, that would be good. So I just send you a money order, right?
Here's a really good example.
Okay, that works.
In our IRC, Mick, great friend Mick, he lives in Ohio, Southern Ohio, and he's had some medical issues of late. He's been in the doctor's office, and all of a sudden he's getting medical spam with his name, his Medicare number, everything. Oh. And he knows, and he's right, his doctor sold it. When you first have a baby, and you're in the hospital. And then you notice like a couple of weeks later, you start getting ads for diapers and Gerber. That's because the hospital sold that information. Everybody does it now. And it's too bad.
But you can't tell them to not do that, not being stupid them. Here, but I mean.
Well, increasingly you can. And here in California, for instance, we have that right. In Europe, because of GDPR, we have that right. And because it's California, it's a big state, it's a tenth of the population of the U.S., I suspect you're going to see more and more forms will say, do not release this information or, keep it private. I think they should. But, it's such a mess out there that everybody knows everything. Okay. That's why I'm a squirrel.
That's why
you are a squirrel, Leo.
I've changed my identity.
Leo.
Yeah.
You are. And one of the nicest squirrels I've ever seen.
I know what you like, and you're not getting them, so stay away from my acorns.
I like another cup of coffee. I'll tell you that after this call. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much.
Salute,
Thank you
Chris.
so much, Chris J.
Thank you, my friend.
Jehoshaphat. Jebediah.
I know where you live, Micah.
Jebediah.
Why do you know where I live?
Jingleberries.
That's terrifying.
That's what it is. It's jingleberries. That's what it is. He doesn't want anybody to know.
I have to move.
How does he know where you live?
I don't. Maybe it was just a joke.
He's joking.
I hope.
All he knows is you live in a 3-story walk-up with it.
You know who does know where I live?
Who?
So do you remember when we had a caller who called in and was printing out wrapping paper on giant printers?
Oh!
Yes?
Yes.
So that caller made Chihuahua wrapping paper.
No.
Yes. And I decided I needed to have some Chihuahua wrapping paper.
Yes.
So
you ordered some Chihuahua wrapping paper.
I did indeed order some Chihuahua wrapping paper, which I will show. Okay. We will show you here. If you want to grab that. Wait.
Now, are these your Chihuahuas or just generic?
No, these are just generic Chihuahuas.
But the funny thing about Chihuahuas, they all look
so much alike.
Yeah.
So I've got this nice sheet of Chihuahua wrapping paper that I can use.
Okay, that's a start.
But what's
amazing? Is that all you got? One sheet?
Yeah, because I just wanted to see.
You wanted a sample.
I wanted to see if it was good.
Yeah.
Or I decided to go all in.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's actually quite thick, and it's kind of textured, which is neat.
Okay.
Anyway,
you could actually wrap. Well, no, that's not good.
So no, I wouldn't wrap a dog in it. So
Lily, come here.
What's awesome though is that the listener included a little bit something more.
There's more?
Yes, in the package. Leo, should we want to
Yes.
We will now have the ability.
Yes.
Let me just get these organized properly. To create.
Yes.
Our own.
Yes.
Prayer candles.
Oh no! Yes, Saint Leo of the Holy Microphone.
And Saint, look, I'm actually the trio, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
So we got to go and get some of these candles.
Yeah, we need to get some prayer candles.
There's a store in town that sells prayer candles, just generic ones, and we could just wrap. So you wrap these around.
You wrap these around the outside of the candle.
Can you have my over the shoulder, or is that dead? Or is it confused by my head?
I love that the listener took the time to create these for us. But on top of that,
look at that.
You also
that is great.
Isn't that awesome?
I think it's a little sacrilegious, but okay.
I know I'm a little weird about it.
Jammer B, is this a side address or a top address, Mike? No, I think it's a side address. I think we're okay on that.
You also have some more stickers here that were sent.
Okay, what else? Laporte, Leo Laporte. I'll put this on my laptop.
Isn't that great? And then here's my.
That's great. We had some stickers. John had some that say, Uncle Leo says, screw you. Oh, look at that. Mike, I like that pose. Where did you get that picture?
That was a photo that I took when I came to visit Petaluma to see if I wanted to move here.
And you were praying.
And I was doing one of these goofy poses.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. So I just want to thank our listener for, taking the time to create these and then also send those in the package.
And what's his name? And what's his, do we have
his name?
His URL so you can order some Leo prayer candles?
I will tell you the name of the place. The shop is called Amers Phenomenon. That's right. AMERS.
Yeah.
Phenomenon.
Nice. AMER. And it's on Etsy.
Yes.
Yeah. Very nice.
Very cool. So thank you for that.
Amber.
And we'll have to get our candles soon so we can make them into candles.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Now what?
We should take a quick break.
Let's take a little break so I can adjust my nuts. I got it. I'm never going to be able to go to the bathroom in this thing. I'm so in trouble. And then when we come back, more of your favorite squirrel, moose and squirrel, pirate and squirrel.
Pirate and squirrel.
All right, we're back. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. During that long break. Now, who should we talk to?
All right. Arizona Lou has been hanging out on the line.
Oh, it's regular. It's the regular hour. Hello, Lou. America's oldest comic. That's his name. That's
something
what he
like
calls
that,
himself.
right?
Arizona Lou on the line. Hello, Arizona Lou.
Nope. Unmute yourself, Arizona Lou. We can see you talking, but we can't hear you talking.
I'm thinking this should be actually a little more forward.
Then you could take a nap.
Then you wouldn't know if I were awake or not.
ArizonaLou.com. I am dressed as a pirate. That is all that I am. You're
not Captain Jack Sparrow.
I'm not Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm not. What else did they say today? There've been lots of suggestions. I'm not
Hook.
a ska performer. I'm not Rick James.
I'm just a squirrel. No one even.
There's no names for you.
No names for me.
All right, Arizona Lou, I'm going to hang up on you. You can rejoin the call.
I'm not whoever that person is.
That's Milli Vanilli.
Let's go ahead and actually, let's do another email.
Who is Milli Vanilli?
If you don't mind.
Who is Milli Vanilli, ladies and gentlemen?
Milli Vanilli.
You should have another email, Leo.
I do. Would you like an email?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see how I would be the one that is wearing the bandana.
I have two.
I don't know which one of that one is, Milli or Vanilli.
New Samsung F24T 450 FQE monitor. Thank you for the number. Is turning its screen off and on every 7 seconds. This is from Jamie Wizardling in our Discord. Hello, Wizardling.
Hi, Wizardling.
Oh, I know you. From New Zealand. I didn't know you were from New Zealand, mate. No, that's a bad Kiwi.
I was going to say, that? It was, yeah.
I'm sorry about the All Blacks.
I'm already convinced it's
my new
an
Samsung
HDMI.
F24 T450 FQE monitor. It's a monitor. It's turning its screen off and on every 7 seconds, showing a black screen with only the input choice. It's saying HDMI or on the top left. When my Windows 11 i5 8400 PC is sleeping its screen. Oh. It doesn't happen when the PC is fully slept or off. It didn't happen with an older ViewSonic monitor. It's HDMI. Doesn't happen with another LG monitor using the same PC. Samsung's connected to motherboard HDMI port to use the iGPU, the integrated graphics processor. LG is connected to the graphics. Wizardling says, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the precipitate. Little chemistry.
Interesting. So it's good that you tried another LG monitor that's not doing it. If it wasn't doing it with the other monitor and that monitor was using the same HDMI cable that you're now using, then there could be something wrong with the HDMI port on the back of the monitor that may be causing a disconnection.
I'm going to guess the cable. That's what I'm going to guess.
You think it's HDMI cable, but why did it work with a different monitor?
So HDMI does a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a common problem with HDMI. That if the and that's when you first turn on a computer with HDMI, it'll sit there for a while because it's negotiating refresh rate, resolution, technology. Is it using, Dolby or whatever? Variety of different stuff, and then it comes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
The flickering means usually it's going off and on. That they're still trying to figure this out. There's something missing. And a cable that could be a little off spec might work with one monitor that's not trying to do as much and not work with a newer monitor that says, well, no, but I can do HDR. And it keeps telling me to do HDR, but then I try it and it fails, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I would make sure you've got the latest HDMI spec, which is 1.2A. Is that right? I think it is. Anybody know? Make sure you got an up-to-date HDMI cable. Get it from Monoprice. They make good cables. Amazon is iffy because while there are very good cables on Amazon, there are also bad cables on Amazon. It's sometimes hard to tell the difference. So go to Monoprice or a known thing. Keith512 says it might be power issues. There's a lot of things it might be.
Exactly. It might be this. It might be that.
The cheapest, easiest fix is to try the cable. Now, you didn't imply that you had swapped the LG to use that cable and that port. So it could also be, make sure that you've tried all combinations of cables and ports on the LG and that it works in every case with the LG. And then that's how you narrow it down. That's really a good thing to do. In fact, it's nice that you have a second monitor. Because if you don't have this behavior at all on the LG, but just on the Samsung, it may well be that the Samsung has a capability the LG doesn't have and that your cable isn't supporting it. Or maybe the HDMI connection doesn't support it.
Yeah, Wizardling says they did swap the cable. Didn't see it change. But I agree that because then Wizardling also says that they use 2 generic HDMI 2 spec cables. So might want to try a more reputable non-generic HDMI cable.
Could be, yeah. Is it a newer Samsung Wizardling? Wizardling is in our Discord, which is nice. Club member. He gets extra special treatment.
Brand new,
yeah. So that might be that it has capabilities. Some Samsung displays now have HDR, for instance. They might also have a higher refresh rate, might be 240 hertz. And some of those things might be baffling either the card or the cable. Cable's the easiest. So get the highest quality new HDMI spec cable you can, and see if that helps. And if it doesn't, well, now you got another. You might have another issue. It's a 75 hertz monitor. Okay, that's interesting. So it's not faster than 75. It doesn't do 90 or 120. That's a little odd. Is it a TV? Yeah, 75 hertz is not, it's a weird number, to be honest. Usually it's 60, 90, 120, 240, something like that. I mean, a computer could do 75. This is a tough one because it could be a lot of different things. I think Retcon5 says he'll have some questions for next week. But if he does come in to do those questions, you've got to wear the squirrel costume. I'm just saying. Any other thoughts for Wizardling? I don't know if we have an answer for that.
Yeah, it could be something. I mean, that's the problem. This seems like it could be something.
Could be a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you're on the right track, which is swapping different things in and out to kind of narrow it down. 75 hertz is the new 60. Eh? Okay.
Actually, real quick, he might have a 4K. If that's 4K and he's trying to go over 60, he needs a HDMI 2.1 cable.
That's what it is. Not 1.2, 2.1. That's what it is. Thank you. That's Benito Gonzalez. He's back, and we missed you, Benito. Welcome back. Our technical director. And you may wonder why it squeaks whenever he talks. He's sitting in a rocking chair.
A spooky haunted rocking chair.
Haunted rocking chair. Check for a firmware update. Yeah, there's some good suggestions in the chat. So he says it is not 4K. It's 1080p. That should be 1080p 75 hertz should be very easy for your internal GPU, your integrated GPU to handle. I don't think that's too difficult. Do you want to do another email? I got another one. You gave me 3. Let's do 3.
Let's do 3.
Unless this was the one that was stuck to Wizardlings. Windows upgrade from Mike in Burbank. Hi, Leo and Micah.
Hi.
I understand that Windows has ended the free upgrade from Windows 7 and 8 to Windows 10. Can you believe that? For years, they allowed that. Just a couple of weeks ago, they turned the server off. Yep, that's right. Paul Thurrott has confirmed it. Will they also be ending the free upgrade from Windows 11 to Windows 11 from Windows 10? That's a good question. I think not. Uptake on Windows 11 has been laggard. Mm-hmm. They estimate about 400 million. Now, that seems like a lot of people. But when you have 1.6 billion users,
wow,
and only less than a third, fewer than a third of them have switched to your newest version, that's cause for concern. So I'm going to guess they're going to continue that upgrade path for Windows 10 to Windows 11, providing your hardware is compatible, of course, which has always been one of the issues. You have to have TPM 2.0 and so forth. But I think in an 8th generation or later Intel processor or AMD, I think you're probably going to see that continue for some time. It has not been turned off. However, 7, 8, 9 to either 10 or 11. There is no 9. I was tricking you. Sarcasm. 7 and 8 to 10 or 11 is no longer doable. It used to be. So I wouldn't worry about Windows 11. Windows 12 is just around the corner.
Exactly.
Holy cow. Let's take another call.
It'll only get better.
Yeah, no, Daniel is on the line.
Hi, Daniel. Come on in.
Daniel. And remember, you can get in touch with us by going to call.twit.tv or calling us at 888-724-2884.
Hello, am I there?
You're here. Welcome, Daniel. What's up?
Hi, thanks a lot, Leo. Thanks a lot, Micah. I have a question. I also sent it in a video form a couple of weeks ago, but you never got back to me, I don't think. So I'm going to try to bring it up now.
I'm sorry. We probably have that video somewhere, but...
someplace.
Yeah, someplace.
So my son really likes Roblox.
Okay. Yes, the online gaming system, yeah.
Right, and he wants to learn how to make his own games. And so I would like to have, though, a service, a more one-on-one service than watching videos, because he has very simple questions that can't be, you don't want to watch 20 videos when you've got a unique problem. Like he tries to create a project, and the project, he can't save it. It won't save. He just needs like a human to talk to,
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
How
old is your son?
He's 20.
Okay, good. So he's an adult. Because I would be hesitant to send him into the Roblox Discord if he were 10.
Right.
But if
Go ahead.
If he's 20, he can handle himself online. Roblox, like now a lot of stuff, has a Discord channel. Our Club Twit has a Discord. Discord, and your son will be familiar with Discord almost certainly. Discord is a very popular.
He's in there. He's on the Discord.
Oh, he's in there. There's a help channel in there. That's probably the best place to ask a question like that. Very simple questions. You should be able to get a simple answer. There's a lot of helpful people in there. Of course, Roblox has its own tutorials and stuff, but I think if you just had a simple question, let me join the Roblox.
But then let's say just since I've got you on the line, if you wanted to up it, I mean,
you want to like a human,
like you can take lessons online, with.
Like
Zoom,
a Roblox tutor.
Right.
This is a really interesting thing because, most of us have certainly looked at a bunch of tutorials and, there are, like Stack Exchange maybe. You get a human who talks to you.
In Stack.
Yeah, you'd get a human who talks to you.
You know what? Okay, crazy. But I bet ChatGPT
could
probably help you. Let me just try. So he wants to save his Roblox program?
That's a simple thing. That's the beginning, but that's what stops us from going forward.
This is kind of crazy, but maybe you could do that. Let me try. Let me just ask ChatGPT. I have a button on my screen now because I feel like it's my close personal friend. How do I save my program in Roblox? Wait a minute. How do I save my program in Roblox?
In Roblox Studio, saving your program or game is straightforward. Here's how you can do it. 1, open Roblox Studio and ensure you're editing the game or program you want to save. 2, click on the File menu in the top left corner. 3, from the drop-down menu, select...
Well, you get the idea. She'll probably go on for an hour.
That's pretty cool.
What's cool about it too is that you could say a very specific thing. You can say, when I say, you could not even just have to talk to it, but type to it. When I save, I'm getting this error, and then you copy that specific error, and then it can pop back in with specific advice for that specific error. Now, Scooter X in the chat did find...
He's found 3 different tutors.
And I think that middle one, the varsity tutors, it's basically a place where people can go and sign on to be tutors for specific things. And then you, as a person, can go on and get one of these tutors. And they have Roblox tutors specifically.
They sure do. Look at that. Award-winning Roblox tutors. It's on my screen. You can
I think I've seen that in some of my searching. So varsity, it seems like a reputable organization.
Yeah, I think I've heard of Varsity Tutors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you recommended that one. There's certainly you could do that too. It is nice, isn't it, to have a human? You might even check. Roblox has become so popular. There are some, believe it or not, community colleges with Roblox classes.
Wow.
So you might check your local, I don't know, in your area, check your community college. This is hysterical because who knew? But it turns out programming is programming. And if you're coding in Roblox, you're developing skills that could be useful. And then there's also ways to make money if you publish your class. Here on Varsity. This is on Create and Learn. Unfortunately, we've lost my screen, so I can't show you. But they have beginner Roblox game coding Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday.
Oh, so human beings teaching the courses.
It's like a tutorial thing. It's like a little mini class. So there's online. But there are also even real-world classes, real-life classes these days, which is fascinating. I think I even saw a university.
That's great.
Roblox. Isn't that great? So, yes, there's a lot of information out there. This is a very popular thing.
Very cool.
Well, thank you. And I have one more question.
Sure.
If you can help me spend some money.
Yeah, gladly. Don't buy a Mac till tomorrow night.
New MacBooks are coming out.
Yeah, don't buy anything till tomorrow night. That's my advice. Do you want a Mac?
Well, I was all ready to buy a MacBook Air, but yeah.
So the MacBook Airs will not be updated. Mike has got one. Mike has got the 14-inch, or sorry, is it 14 or 13? 13-inch there. I've got the 16-inch here. These are the new M2 MacBook Airs. They will not be updated because they just came out this year, and they're great. Love them. I highly recommend them if you want light, thin, and for 99.9% of users, more than enough power on this, which means Leo should absolutely not buy a new MacBook Pro tomorrow, but he probably will.
No, you
I
said
know,
you
but
wouldn't.
it's that M3. When the M3 comes out, it's going to be driving me crazy, though.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly my point. So, a couple of things will happen tomorrow night. Apple will announce, we're pretty sure, new M3-based 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros. They will not announce the low-end 13-inch MacBook Pro.
Right.
That's not due, and frankly, no one should buy that even if they did announce it. They will be M3-based. I expect we will see M3 Pro and Max versions. That's what the rumors say, and I think the rumors are pretty accurate, which means you'll be able to spend $4,000 or more on these laptops. It'll be easy to spend $3,000 like out of the gate. But it also means current MacBook Pros are dropping in prices. In fact, not only are they dropping in prices, they're dropping in availability. So I guess Apple has stopped making the older ones, and they're starting to sell those out because the availability is now November and December for the old MacBook Pros. Do you really want to? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, do you really want a high end? Are you really drooling, slavering for the M3?
I'm a photographer. I've got an Intel, MacBook Pro now that the keyboard's not working, and Apple told me it was going to cost,
You've earned a new MacBook, my friend. You're suffering
I know.
with a butterfly keyboard on an Intel MacBook Pro. Sir, my friend, you're using this for work. I give you my full permission to buy and get the 16 because you want lots of screen real estate, right?
Yes. But, most of my work is on an external monitor anyway,
Yeah, I personally prefer the 14. In fact, I'm sorry I got this 15-inch MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. It's too big. I like the little one. I like your little one. Yeah. And I hope they offer the midnight blue. They may not because it's a fingerprint magnet. What do? You
so
clean
you still
it?
recommend the Air over the Air?
Not for you. No, you've been suffering long enough.
Yeah.
Your long days of suffering are over.
You're exactly. You're special. You deserve it.
Gosh darn it.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh darn it.
Do you have a spouse? Yes. You might want to consider spousal acceptance factors.
No, Dory, I'm talking to you. I'm hiding in the closet.
Yes. But honey, Leo said he wasn't a squirrel suit when he said it.
That was the sound of the banging on the door I was hearing.
No, you can't have one. No, I'm very lucky because my wife says you have to get it. After she says, how much? Good. She says then,
right. She's going to say, my wife's going to say, show me a picture of this reputable man.
Yes. Recommended. Hi.
Exactly. Not the day for it.
I think these are good. It's hard to say because the M3, that 3-nanometer node is in our phones. And the phones, these new iPhone 15s, are only 10% faster than the old ones. It's a little of a disappointment. They're not much faster. But it is an old node. So one of the things we'll talk about if you watch Micah and me tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here, we will talk about, and we will be paying close attention, Apple may not say, but we'll try to figure out which version of the 3-nanometer M3 they're offering. In theory, this 3-nanometer processor should be much more than 10% faster and much more power. What do you call it? Power. What's the opposite of hungry?
Yeah, I was going to say
powerful. Power doesn't need power.
Power efficient.
Efficient. Thank
power
you.
Efficient.
That's the word. So
I need a cup of coffee.
But we haven't seen that yet, and a lot of pundits were a little bit disappointed by the iPhone 15. So watch the numbers at Apple. If Apple's comparing it to Intel, that's a bad sign. What Apple does, they did that last time, right? They compared their M2 to the Intel processor, and that's always a bad sign. Of course, it's faster than the Intel for less power. How does it compare? If they compare it to the M2 and they say it's 30% faster than the M2, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. But, anything's going to be better than what you have. You're using a, butterfly keyboard.
Oof. Those poor fingers. You deserve a new machine.
Yeah. And these new keyboards are much better. Everything's much better on the MacBooks. My wife bought the M2 MacBook Pro 14, and after I got my my MacBook Air, I compared it side by side with hers, and I said, I should have held out, but I didn't know Apple was going to do it so soon.
Yeah, but now you're just not going to buy one tomorrow.
Right.
Okay, well, that's...
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for the call.
Okay, thanks a lot, Leo. Thank you, Micah.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Bye.
I think it's time for one last break.
We will be back. I have to adjust my nuts, but we'll be back with more of Ask the Tech Guys. You're going to edit that out, right? Right after this.
Hey there, folks. Get ready for the BackBeat Media Podcast Network, your new go-to place for top-notch podcasting fun. You're an Apple fanboy or fangirl? We've got you covered with the Cultcast, delivering all the iNews you could ever want. More of a literature lover? Bookworm is going to rock your world. Got a thing for theater? Broadway radio is going to hit you right in the feels, while Mac Geek Gab and MacCast are here to feed all your tech cravings. Punk rock your vibe? You're going to vibe so hard with Jughead's Basement. And for all the dinosaur nerds out there, I Know Dino is basically your spirit animal. But hold up, all about that mental health, pop culture, and tech life? Christina Warren and Brett Terpstra are serving up your weekly dose. Love a good flying tale? Fig and Repeat are about to take your imagination to new heights. And hey, to all you small business gurus out there, Dave Hamilton and Shannon Jean are dropping knowledge bombs every week. BackBeat Media Podcast Network, folks. It's where your passions come alive and there's never a dull moment. Hit up backbeatmedia.com and get ready to binge.
Micah Sargent, Leo Laporte, Pirate Squirrel. This is, if you're confused, episode 1998. So we're dressing as if it's we're going to party like it's 1999.
We're partying like it's 1998, where everyone wore Halloween costumes all year round in the year 1998, as you very well know.
I think I would like to do one more voicemail if possible.
Yes.
Let's do one more voicemail if possible.
Hey, tech guys. I'm up here in Aberdeen, South Dakota, where we get some extreme temperatures. We're talking anywhere from about 105, 110 degrees sometimes to down to about 20 below zero in the winter times. I have an unattached garage, which is uninsulated. I do have a Tesla, and that charges fine.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for a UPS of some kind that can provide me with, I'd even be happy with 30 minutes of power under those extreme conditions. I'm only going to use the UPS for a couple of security lights and a couple of Nest cameras. Anything you got would be appreciated. Thank you.
Call NASA.
Call NASA?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who would have these like harsh environment UPSs.
Well, so the garage is unheated and uninsulated.
Mm-hmm.
So the garage is going to get up to 110 degrees. And by the way, the reason the Tesla charges fine is because Tesla preconditions the battery. They have little heaters in the battery to handle this. A lot of modern EVs do.
Arguably, though, would you think that it's not an ideal environment even for the Tesla? Even with those preconditions and stuff, probably not going to get as much life out of it as you would if it was in a non-harsh environment.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is always a problem with EVs is how do they handle really cold temperatures. But, you know, Norway has already said we're not going to allow people to buy gas vehicles anymore. I think it's completely doable for a manufacturer, and Tesla's in the forefront of this, to make a vehicle that can handle I got to go to an orthodontist. Low temperature conditions. So, you know, the Tesla should charge just fine because, especially if you say, I'm going to charge and give it a chance to precondition, or you charge overnight and it says, oh, we're charging, heats up the battery a little bit, warms it up before it starts charging, it's going to get a better result. Look at this. Dr. Mom found the APC, and they make very good. I like APC. I've bought them for years. APC has a harsh environment
that was discontinued on October of 2 years ago.
Yeah. And
but there's a replacement.
Yeah, there's got to be a new one, right? Let's see. Smart. So APC apparently does this. Thing is, the only way I think you could handle it is by having a little heater in there. And I don't know how you'd handle the 110 degrees.
$7,000.
So in environmental, that's the wrong thing. It's what? Did you say $7,000?
Yes, $7,000 for that one. That's discontinued is $4,000. The one that's suggested as the replacement is $7,000.
They're doing something like having a heater in there. So they do have some. If you search APC for harsh environment, they do have some stuff. You'd have to have a fan in there for the hot days and a heater in there for the cold days. That's interesting. Industrial UPSs, the R series for rugged environments. Wow, this is interesting. Here's a current one, the SURT 6000. APC Smart UPS for harsh environment. Boy, I'd sure like to know more about what they mean by harsh environment. I guess if you download the data sheet, you could find out what the ranges of temperatures were. This is it is a tough thing. You want a half an hour of security lights. So that's actually a surprisingly large amount of power. Eric Duckman says, if you insulated and got a heat pump, it'd be cheaper than $7,000.
That's true.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. Yeah, depending on how much these might cost, it might be better to get a standard UPS and just insulate it.
Sometimes harsh environment just means dust.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'd want to make sure that it can handle. Batteries are notoriously finicky about temperature. They really want to be in that special range. Here's one from Power Solutions. Scooter X on the job. This is the Alpha Micro 100 UPS, a reliable, outdoor-rated, uninterruptible power supply. So UPS means it has a battery in it, right? And that's where we're getting in trouble here. It's not merely a surge protector. It will run for 2 hours and 15 minutes of full load. Full load for this. It's 45 pounds. I wonder how much it costs.
Yeah, request a quote is the only way I can find out.
Request a quote. That's a bad sign.
That's always a bad sign.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it. Enhanced battery life, wide range automatic voltage regulation. Yeah. Featuring all weather protection. Now there's just saying it's because of the environment that you're spending more money for that. I'm not sure. It's interesting. Outdoor operating temperature 40 below to 165 above. That should do you.
Yeah, that was what.
That should do you. Dr. Mom says they use EVs in Iceland all the time. You do want to charge indoors. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Get a UPS and put it in an ice chest.
I don't think it's the heat I'm worried about. It's the cold.
No, that was just funny in the Discord.
That's the universal. This is going to be the new universal signal for sarcasm.
Yeah, I should have done that.
/S. Sarcasm.
Yeah, no, we don't
have an answer for you. That is tough conditions. Frankly,
you could also move.
You could move. That's what I would do. Another question. Should we do a phone call? I see people on the phone.
Yeah, it's
Arizona Lou made it back.
Yeah. You want to do Lou again?
Sure. He figured out how to get his microphone working. Hello, Lou.
Hello, you.
Can you hear me?
Woo! We can hear you now, Lou.
Hey, yeah. I'm listening to. Let me see. Do you hear me? Do you hear a rustling sound now?
Nope.
Okay, then I just want to tell you guys that you are getting real squirrely today.
One of us at least.
So you think that was your hearing aids were doing the job, huh? And they thought that was
actually at my age I try to plan ahead.
Yeah.
But not too far ahead. So I decided after seeing my otolaryngologist that I would get hearing aids for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
And then since I'm getting older, I moved it up to Halloween.
Yeah. So these are your first hearing aids.
First ones.
Wow.
And they're
your hearing's
pretty
good.
cool. I don't notice a whole lot of difference in people that I hear, but I can listen to podcasts, listen and talk to my
That's one of the things I like about hearing aids is you can pair them with your phone and then it becomes an audio output device. And you can listen to stuff, and people don't even know you're not paying attention to them.
Yep, and it's also an input device because I can make phone calls.
Yours has a microphone.
Talk to you.
Wow, that's fancy.
I can't talk to you guys on them evidently, but that's the way it goes.
Fancy schmancy. So,
planning that.
Can I ask how old you are, Lou?
If I tell you when I was born, can you figure it out?
Yeah, I think we did this before. You did it in Roman numerals, right?
I was born in MCMXLI.
1961. LX, MCM.
No.
MCM is 19. L is 50. X is 10. So 1961. You're younger than me, Lou.
That's XLI. I was born in
40.
XL. You got the L and X reversed. Yeah. That's different. That's different. 1941. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not old yet. I will be at the last of November in my 82nd birthday.
You're a kid. But I'm impressed that your hearing's been so good up to now. That's really good.
Yeah. Well, it's this is pretty cool, and like I say, I don't notice much difference. I only wore them once in the crowd, but didn't notice much
You'll notice, and get your audiologist to adjust them. You have to make a few appointments. But what I noticed immediately was I could hear the sounds of my feet on the carpet.
What?
And because one of the first things you lose is high end. And so I hadn't been hearing things like the rustling of my clothing. And so I hadn't heard it in so long. All of a sudden I said, boy, everything's so rustling. But these things are really amplifying. They're designed to amplify where you're missing frequencies, particularly in the human voice range. So it should, in theory, make it easier for you to understand speaking voices, especially women, because they're in a higher register, which is closer to the high end of your hearing range.
Talking about planning ahead, I'm thinking in September of going to the IFA conference in Berlin.
IFA.
Wow.
Yeah, IFA. That's a fun one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you do, will you report back to us? Be our IFA correspondent?
Sure.
It's this is one of the oldest conferences in the world. It used to be a radio conference for a long. I mean, I think they started in the 20s, before you were born, Lou.
Yeah.
It started in 1924. And it was, the name, of course, is in German, but originally, it was the Große Deutsche Funk- und Fernsehausstellung, the Great German Radio and Television Exhibition. And now it's mostly smartphones, but it's pretty cool. It's
IFA.
IFA. It's supposed to be very cool. I've never been to IFA. Good. Well, be our reporter if you go.
Yeah, I do have a question.
What is it?
I have been unsuccessful. I did join Club TWiT.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Lou.
Guys. I need a good way to selectively download podcasts that I want to listen to. I got a Google podcast thing, and I got all hundreds of podcasts all the way back to April on my phone that I don't want because I've already listened to them.
So what phone do you use?
I have an Android. It's a Pixel 7.
Okay. That's why you're using Google's podcast. Don't use Google's podcasts. Terrible. Function free. We love Pocket Casts, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things Pocket Casts will do is in the settings, it'll say, I want to subscribe to this Ask the Tech Guys podcast. I want to download 5, 10, 15 episodes, and I want you to delete them after I've heard them. And you can even queue up, do you want to hear the latest? Do you want to, it's much more flexible than Google's podcast app.
So I could say pick all of them from last Friday on or something like that?
Exactly. Yeah, it won't
download
free. All of them. It'll just download the ones you want. And it'll clear them out after you're done. Yeah. It's quite nice. And it's free,
Now, another thing you can't do with Google is you can't skip forward. For example, if I want to skip to where you're talking to Chris Marquardt, with Google, I haven't found a way to do that. I have to listen to 40 minutes of podcast.
What a terrible podcast player.
Yeah, this seems like a very poorly designed.
Pocket Cast lets you listen at any speed. It lets you jump ahead.
Yep.
You have a button that says 45 seconds forward or 30 seconds back, but you can adjust.
You can change those
what
times.
those are.
Mm-hmm.
We don't put chapter headings in yet. I suspect we will be with AI's help at some point. So there's no chapter heading, unfortunately. There is on our YouTube channel. There's no chapter heading on our audio podcasts that say, jump to Chris Marquardt. What did you say? Google Podcasts?
And Google Podcasts, of course, is going away soon.
Oh, well, good. They're killing it.
Yeah, so there's moving it all into YouTube.
Yeah, oh, that's terrible. Yeah, YouTube Music has podcasts now. I don't find it a very good podcast player either. Pocket Casts, that's the one we recommend.
Okay,
and when you join the club, you got an email with links to your to your special place where you get the special, because everybody who's a member of the club has their own unique URL for our ad-free versions. So you want to get those and put those in Pocket Cast. You can actually just paste them in and add them all. And then you can decide, once you've got them all in there, you can decide, I don't want to download that one, or maybe only download the most recent one and delete it after a week. There's all sorts. It's very functional. Jumping ahead until we put chapter markers in will be manual. Just press that 40. I press the 45 seconds. Boom, 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 and jump ahead.
Cool. And I tried to join Discord unsuccessfully.
It's
Is there any way you can demonstrate with your squirrely mittens
I don't know. To be honest, I never had to, because I created the Discord channel. So I never joined it.
Yeah.
So maybe you can explain it.
We did an episode. We have a video that goes through this process.
That's what I need.
Yeah, so we have a video. We'll put it in the show notes again today.
Where is it stored? Is it on our? Is it?
I don't know if we should have it at a short link or something.
Yeah, we should.
But I know if you go to twit.tv/clubtwit.
I think there's help stuff there.
Yeah, we do have an FAQ. And so it's twit.tv/clubtwit/FAQ, and it has that information about how to join the Discord. But I think it even does have, there it is. So it has that YouTube video embedded where I walk through the process. So if you...
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, twit.tv/clubtwit/FAQ. And that's where you'll go, Arizona Lou, to check out the video that shows you.
One of the reasons Ann Pruitt is our community manager is he's much more... It's asking for a password?
I didn't know if it was my computer password or my TWiT password.
You don't have a TWiT password, so it couldn't be that. So the way Discord works, this is a little confusing.
Yep.
Set it up first.
Yeah, you got to create an account first.
You're going to create an account that is unrelated to anything else, including us. Discord lets you have multiple servers that you join in one client, but you have to have a Discord account first. So create your own. I'm sure you explain this in the video, but just as a shorthand, create your own account in Discord, and then you will have a Discord password. It'll be your Arizona Lou email, and then you'll have a Discord password. That's what you log into Discord with, and then you can join different servers. And so then that's where the link to Discord will actually do something. Until you have Discord,
you're trying to get more people to see you guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We appreciate it. Twit.tv/clubtwit if you want to join. $7 a month.
Would you like some information about a rotator cuff?
Yeah. Do you have a bad rotator cuff?
Well, I did. I had surgery years ago.
It's in your elbow, right? I thought it was a shoulder, but it's an elbow, somebody told me.
If you go to my website, arizonalou.com, and then click on Smart Stuff, and go down to Health and Fitness, you'll see a book. It's called The 7-Minute Rotator Cuff Solution.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
And that was really helpful in rehabilitating my shoulder and...
So it is a shoulder.
Avoiding surgery with my other shoulder.
Oh, yeah. One thing it says, don't reach back for the email, probably. It's the first thing it says. Probably. Hey, Lou, always a pleasure. ArizonaLou.com. Thank you, Lou.
Hey, thanks, guys. Glad we got our audio working.
Yay.
Take care.
It's always a problem with Bluetooth because it's promiscuous. So I'm talking on my phone and my AirPods Pro, and then I turn on my iPad, and all of a sudden it switches over to the iPad from the phone. It's so annoying. I think that's enough for today.
I think we've done it.
Yes.
I'm going to go work on my rotator cuff with 7 minutes of exercises.
I am just going to go get some food. And I'll eat these acorns.
I might have a cup of coffee and some food.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do Ask the Tech Guys. Oh, somebody was saying tomorrow's event, the Apple event, which is 5 p.m. Pacific time. What time is that in England? We are still on summertime because that's a long story, but basically the sugar manufacturers of America, the confectionaries of America said you can't change the clock before Halloween. You got to give the kids time to get more candy. So we go into standard time, I should say, on next Sunday. So we are still, believe it or not, in summertime. So it'll be 5 p.m. Pacific summertime, Pacific daylight saving Pacific time.
Wow. And it'll be 12 a.m. London time.
It's midnight it's midnight GMT.
Yeah.
Which is, I presume, London.
It
as
is,
well.
yeah.
Midnight UTC. And this show, which is currently 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern, 11 to 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is right now 1800 UTC, will be 1900 UTC. So next week, 1900 UTC.
I hate time math more than
Can we
any
just
other math.
stop the insanity?
Stop the insanity.
Imagine how I feel.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. All of a sudden, I'm burying my nuts, and the sun is suddenly in a different spot. What the hell is going on?
And I'm using my sextant to try to figure out where I'm supposed to be going.
Confusing.
And suddenly the stars are in a different place.
All this madness ends next Sunday. We are on standard time, which means we are going to fall back, which means for those of you who are already on standard time, suddenly, unaccountably, we're going to start an hour different time.
It's a different time. There you go.
If you want to watch live, it's at live.twit.tv. There's audio and video streams there if you're watching live. Chat with us live at irc.twit.tv. Of course, Club Twit members get beyond the velvet rope access in our Club Twit Discord, if you could figure out how to make it work.
Call us, 888-724-2884 during the week to leave a voicemail. We love to answer your voicemails. atg@twit.tv to leave an email. Call.twit.tv during the show to join our Zoom. And again, don't forget to join the club to check out our great Escape Room in a Box event earlier. That's at twit.tv/clubtwit.
Thank you all for being here. I'm Leo Laporte.
And I'm Micah Sargent.
And we are wishing you a great Geek Week.
Adios. What? Why would a pirate say
pirate style?
Hey, we should talk Linux. It's the operating system that runs the internet, a bunch of game consoles, cell phones, and maybe even the machine on your desk. But you already knew all that. What you may not know is that TWiT now has a show dedicated to it, the Untitled Linux Show. Whether you're a Linux pro, a burgeoning sysadmin, or just curious what the big deal is, you should join us on the Club TWiT Discord every Saturday afternoon for news, analysis, and tips to sharpen your Linux skills. And then make sure you subscribe to the Club TWiT exclusive Untitled Linux Show. Wait, you're not a Club TWiT member yet? Well, go to twit.tv/clubtwit and sign up. Hope to see you there.